Previously on Two Balls and a Mic.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 264. We are back here 1 week, match week for San Diego FC, one of the most important weeks of soccer in San Diego, in the history of soccer in San Diego. As such, we got to speak to some pretty important people and it's about some pretty important topics. We're going to welcome right off the bat here a great friend, a great pal, Cesar Football, Cesar Hernandez, to talk about his in-depth, very close to the club relationship that he had to build with the team and where the team is now and where they came. It's a very fascinating read with this article here on ESPN. We're going to go ahead and jump in with him, as well as the Coachella Valley Invitational, SDFC, San Diego Wave. Both participants, both did not lose. One in resounding fashion, 6-0, San Diego versus New York Red Bulls, and the San Diego Wave tying in that one. Goals, gaffes, and greats. We're also going to have a setup of the San Diego segment. Season's greetings to everybody. Welcome to San Diego Football. It is match week for San Diego FC. With that, again, thank you for everybody who's joining, everybody who's stopped us, everybody who said hello to myself or Abe or you in the last couple of weeks. But again, everybody's here for a common theme, San Diego soccer, hopefully. If you're here on a whim, it's well, welcome to you too. But Chiba, let's get right onto this. Let's go ahead and welcome our stellar guest. We've had him on the podcast as a pal, as a friend, as a consultant in a lot of ways. But today, I think he's on official duty per ESPN. We're going to welcome in a technically coworker because he also has Club Deportivo Movie Club along with Drew Steck, a podcast here on San Diego Football, where he and Drew analyze soccer movies. Please welcome the great and powerful Cesar Hernandez. Cesar, how are you?
Hey guys, glad to be here. I'm glad to be taking off my hat as the normal movie watching Cesar who watches movies with Drew, and now putting on my journalism hat as the soccer writer who is now a guest on San Diego Football. That's like it's two different entities of me that share a recording space, aka this bedroom, but they're separate entities nonetheless. But thanks guys for having me on. How many times have I been on the pod now? I think this is it four, five?
Five? I want to say five. And five's a five timers club. This is kind of, we don't have a jacket like Saturday Night Live has for hosts who have done it 5 times. But we'll figure something out for you. But no, I mean, I love your perspective, and I really enjoy and really appreciate again your guidance and just chats at the end of the day. Like you're such a good guy to just talk soccer with and talk anything with, and it's fantastic to have you in our corner, and not just in our corner, but in San Diego's corner, because you are an absolute weapon when it comes to the journalistic aspect of things here in San Diego. And I mean, let's get right into it, right, Cesar? You had an article here with ESPN going in depth with San Diego FC and the Right to Dream Academy. Do you walk us through? This feels weird, almost like, man, like this is the job. So, like, he's ready, he's prepared, he's laser focused. I love it. Cesar, you had this article, fantastic write up. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
You'll see at the very top there with the title that clearly the editors choose the title and not the writers sometimes when it comes to these things. But
Yeah, yeah,
trying to,
yeah.
I understand. I understand the need to get some clicks there with the anti-Miami vision. But yeah, no,
Mhm.
I wanted to write about SDFC ahead of their debut season, and what pulled me the most was Right to Dream. I mean, also let's be real. When you're looking ahead of a debut season, there isn't a lot going on. There aren't there weren't any games, until recently. Obviously, there was Chucky Lozano, but there are a lot of question marks about the players that would surround him. Obviously, it's been built out a little bit more, but the more I learned about Right to Dream, the more I was really curious about Tom Vernon's story. So Tom Vernon, a former scout for Manchester United in Africa, that decided to start this Right to Dream Academy, and I just became really curious about what they were doing abroad and what they were going to do in MLS, which is ultimately very unique. And I know we'll get into it later. I have a lot of questions about the team. I have a lot of questions about the roster. There's a lot I genuinely don't know how it's going to play out with the actual team. But I feel like if there's one thing that I can say for certain, at least from what I've learned, it's gonna be a very unique aspect of what Right to Dream is gonna have with San Diego, and there's high potential about what they could do, not only in San Diego, but in the Tijuana region as well.
And there's so many interesting dynamics that I know that, people now have kind of gotten to know the club a little bit, and how it came about. You mentioned Tom Vernon there, and just his overall philosophy. It just seems holistic. I don't know if you want to just ground everybody in a different way where, it's very easy to be critical and negative about how emotionally tied people are to the sport or to a certain team. But like at the end of the day, these are the people who are having this, just symposium of great thoughts and idea. You've met with Tom Vernon. Do you get a sense that, what, this is a holistic approach? They mean well. Like this is going to be something that at the end of the day is a net positive for the sport, for the community in general.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you consider the academy setup in not only just the US, but just in world soccer, where sometimes players could get dropped after a season. It's clear that with Right to Dream, there's longer term commitments. And what really stood out to me was the educational pathway that they provide for a lot of players. It wasn't, unfortunately, it wasn't something that made the article, because the original article was like 5,000 million pages long. But I did chat with the former, I had it right here, is a former managing director of Right to Dream at Ghana, and it was interesting. They didn't call themselves a football academy. They are, a football academy. They called themselves a school. And this guy who ran Right to Dream in Ghana for quite some time, Eddie Mensah, he's no longer there anymore, but he like had an educational background, and I thought that was really interesting. That clearly, I mean, we're going to be focusing a lot on the soccer. That is obviously the most interesting aspect, but there are players who just take an educational pathway, and I think that that's pretty cool and unique to see. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of interest when it comes to not only players on the U.S. side, but think about all the families from Tijuana, Tijuanenses who are like thinking like, oh, my son, he could go to this Right to Dream thing, and if it doesn't pan out, then and if it doesn't go to SDFC, then he could go to like potentially a U.S. university. So it's really interesting. And obviously uh with Right to Dream in San Diego, they're going to be able to scout in Tijuana, which is going to be very, very unique. Well, it is unique when you consider no other MLS team could do that. You guys are so shocked that you're muted right now, just in such surprise. that what Right to Dream will be able to do in the region. No, I think you guys are still muted. Let's see. Unless it's from my end. But if not, I could always talk a little bit more about what they're trying to.
Cesar?
Oh, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just heard you guys.
I think we're trying to fix.
I think we're back.
I think we're back. We're good.
Yeah.
I think we're
Cool.
back. Look,
I fixed it.
I really have a inkling that, like, because we're so close to the border, it happens on soccer's
Yep.
overtime all the time. We start like mentioning other teams and other and they just hack into this Roadcaster 2, and it is a ongoing situation. But no, I think this is something that leads exactly to what you were saying, right? Like, this is something that no other team in MLS has, and we've been educating a lot of people through MLS and their fandom, or the way that they follow just the beat writers across MLS. And the construction is so fascinating of this team, where the ambition is exactly that. They are trying to revolutionize the way that the markets ran. I don't know, where's your understanding of GAM, TAM, the salary cap, and like, we were very, very transparent with Tom Boger, and even he was like, guys, I'm trying to keep up, and I'm like, you're the guy. He's like, yeah, but I'm trying to keep up. Like,
if Tom Boger is having a hard time, then that says a lot about where the rest of us are at when it comes to paying attention to that. But in general, with the roster, if you had questions about the roster like build and what SDFC are trying to do there, and what they're gonna have to keep in mind while they're trying to build up this team, and also use Right to Dream. Essentially, like, long story short, you got 3 designated players. You could pay them a bunch of money, but it only impacts your salary cap at a limited amount. Then you have U22 initiatives. You could have 3 per roster. And the more I'm talking about this, the more I can sense like viewers like falling asleep right now. So I won't try to keep this too long. But that's just yeah. So it's just like a U22 initiative. You can have up to 3. It's a fixed limited amount for the amount you could use for a salary cap for big signings. You can so it's basically lower than a DP. Long story short, it's just, I like to say that it's just, you could either have 3 designated players or 3 U22 initiative, or you could have 2 DPs and then 4 U22 initiative. And then if you do that model, then you get an extra 2 million in GAM.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, what is this GAM or TAM? Without diving in, without once again putting everyone to sleep, GAM and TAM, let's just for now just say it's monopoly money that you can use to make things easier for your budget and for each team. But I could continue to talk about that, but the more I talk about it, the more confused I become as well, because that's how confusing it is. And once again, it speaks volumes that if Tom Bogert himself, if he's having a hard time because things are changing, and there are new rules that came out recently, like it's tough, it's overwhelming. But I would just say really quick, when it comes to that, that could be for a lot of new soccer fans, like in San Diego, they're like, oh, do I have to understand that or homegrown rules? Like, you don't have to understand the incredible minute details of TAM and GAM and that to really enjoy the league. So fans, like, you'll learn it eventually. Don't stress out about it. That's my job, and it's the job for others to stress out about that.
I think an easy way to say it is, like, if they go with a 3DP model, then they get another potential big name star.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they don't, then that's kind of like they stay where they're at and they get to spend money elsewhere. So
correct. Yeah, because they have 2 DPs right now at the moment. Yeah.
And again, like, this is all it's all been in theory, right? And again, just kind of anchor it back to your journey with getting to know the construction of this. What really tells you that this is going to be a long-term model versus a fast, like, turnaround, right? Because there's so many questions that, experts are saying, well, this team can land in 15th, last in the conference. They can be in the middle of the pack fighting they can revolution, whatever. Everything is there. But, like, it does seem more like a long-term approach where the success isn't necessarily quick in terms of, like, all right, first 1, 2, 3 years, it's set up to be, what St. Louis did. We'd love to have that as San Diegans fans would definitely like to have, but I think you get that sense, right? Like this is a slow burn of a construction. Like they're going for a long-term plan, and that can yield success in terms of maybe individuals who move on to Europe. Like that's where I'm really questioning. Like, well, what is success measured? How do they measure success?
And that's also an interesting question. I think we could dive into that. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about that too, because I could ramble about all this for way too long. But I think clearly, I mean, the obvious answer to that first question is just, well, it takes time to develop players, right? It's as simple as that. You're gonna have to Fans are gonna have to be patient. They're not gonna find some young kid and then suddenly he's gonna be playing on the first team, like later this year. That's just not how it's going to work. The academy doesn't. I think they're going to announce the first group of players in April, and then they're going to move in this fall. So like it's going to take time to develop these players. And yes, you see in FC Northland that Right to Dream gives opportunities to young players, but it's just fans are going to have to be patient with that. And what the team looks like now, I wouldn't even say even during the next 2 to 3 seasons, I don't think that that's what they're thinking about what they want to look like in the long term. Maybe I'm way off of that. Maybe that's not something that they're aiming for, but I think I could confidently say that that's how I think that they're thinking about more of a long-term plan. But I want to throw the question then to you guys actually, because you mentioned something really interesting there about what does success mean? Because you look at Northland, they did a decent job. I mean, right now the season is looking not nearly as good as other ones, but do you think that you would be content, or that the San Diego soccer team would be content about developing a number of young stars going forward for not only like the US, but maybe for like Mexico as well, and these like really, really exciting young talent from the region, but maybe it means possibly inconsistent results going forward. I mean, you see teams like Philadelphia Union and FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake. They produce some really, really good players, but are they the strongest teams in MLS? Union do quite well. I don't know, but it's so. What would success mean to you guys?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, I want to see a team that's going to win. And I think that's something that a lot of people in this city would definitely agree with. They want a championship in the next couple years. I think fans are just, and people that live here in San Diego in general are craving that championship wherever it comes from, whether it's SDFC, San Diego Wave, the Padres, like whoever it is. I think the city's craving that. So I think that's where a lot of people in the community that's how they're gonna measure success. Me personally, if they happen to come up with the next Chicharito for Mexico or something like that,
Yeah.
like that would be successful. If they get a young star from Tijuana and this guy is the next like Venom that's gonna help Mexico get to the Quinto Juego in the World Cup, I would call that successful.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it in a lens of like, well, I see all these people, all these bonds, all these relationships that I've really kind of enjoyed through this journey in terms of like the hardworking individuals that I've always wanted an MLS team that they got heartbroken with what happened with Loyal, never cared for
Right.
Loyal, and we're still there, or just anywhere in between San Diegans. And I think success for San Diego really comes down to not having an apathetic fan base after the first year.
Yeah.
That is really going to, because that's something that San Diegans will definitely just recognize. Like this is a soccer intelligent city, so they're going to recognize a team that's worth their time. They're going to recognize a team that's worth their while, and you see it reflected on San Diego Wave, right? Like you were able to sell out 35,000 seats at Snapdragon Stadium. What's to say San Diego can't do that? What's the consistency aspect going to be? So what does that
Yeah.
translate to? Does that mean that you're you play the most exciting losses and you're dead last in the division, but you know what? You give it your all and the people respond to that. Cool, you have a response. But if you have a system where it's just, cut and dry, it's, developing, great, but developing for who? Developing for what? Is it for San
Yeah.
Diego? Is it for the name, are they is everybody bleed chrome and azul, two colors that people have discovered in different ways, is apparently color, and people who didn't know Spanish are like, azul, what is that? Chrome is not, it's a whatever. But yeah, I think that's success. It just never being at a point where you're comping more tickets than you sell. And that's very cynical in a way, but it's a reality. It's a business, and I'm pretty sure that the ownership will not want to do that. And in talking about ownership, I think that's one thing that is a strength, that I think that there is a belief in this model, this right to dream
Mhm.
model, this right to dream philosophy, the eat, breathe, sleep, repeat, right to dream, everything. It's a business model that should, in theory, get your return, right? After a few couple
Mhm.
years, you put your investment and you can flip it and make your money back, or you can just build through that. So I think that's a long-winded kind of answer of saying, look, just be interesting. Just be interesting. That's success.
Yeah.
Be interesting. The people will respond. The people will be there. They will. If you fight for them, they'll fight for you. But you have every built-in excuse in the textbook. You have a head coach who's never coached in the senior level. It's a inaugural. It's an inaugural team. You're going to open up against the champions, and this is very niche, new total attacking 90 attacking style of play. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But hey, we had fun while we were there.
What I will say though, I think that it's not often. Maybe I shouldn't say often. I think in MLS you do see a lot of teams that are just like, do we chase success or do we chase a bottom up strategy? I mean, I use the top down strategy example with Inter Miami and Messi, and clearly SDFC are trying to do more of a bottom up strategy. What I will say is that in Liga MX, I know it's a different league, but if you allow this example for a little bit, there's a team like Pachuca. They're not a big four club. They're not. That's a tradition. That's a Cruz Azul, Chivas, Club America, Puma, like, but they've found success by doing the right balance of exciting up and coming talent. And what I would say with Pachuca, I would say they have the best academy in all of North America right now.
Yeah.
And this is a team that they were competitive against Real Madrid recently in the Intercontinental Cup. They were able to find success. I wouldn't say they're the most successful team in Liga MX in the 21st century, but they've won a number of titles. They've gone on to international tournaments, and they do that right balance of producing exciting young talent and also having a good balance of having the veteran players that can guide those young players. And what's really interesting to me about that is that Chucky Lozano is a part of that Pachuca setup. If there's
Yeah.
someone that really understands the methodology and the importance of guiding young players and the importance of finding that connection to the next to next generation of players, it's Chucky Lozano. And in my brain, I don't know, it's the Chucky that we're going to see this year. It's not the guy who scored the 2018 World Cup goal. It's not the guy who did it. Oh, by the way, I know it's going to ruin the narrative. Who didn't actually create an earthquake in Mexico City? That was actually proven
Yeah.
to be
No.
untrue.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Mythbusters
But I think he still has the potential to be a very exciting player on the field. I still think of him, maybe perhaps the biggest impact is what he's going to do off the field. I do wonder if that's something that's going on in the back of his mind, because this is also a kid who, when he was in the Pachuca setup in the Pachuca Academy, like, he apparently, he clashed with some coaches. He didn't have, I don't know. There was some. It didn't seem like it was like a very smooth run for him, and he needed support of fellow teammates, fellow players. I think he's probably really been appreciative of Pachuca then holding on to him, making him the player that he is, and that could follow through now years later with him guiding the next generation of players, not only from like San Diego but Tijuana. And yeah, I'm really fascinated by that. And if that works out, maybe you can find that success with providing next generation of talent and also winning titles. But we'll see.
Well, Chucky may score on Pachuca in the League's Cup. So,
That's right. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that'll be a
Yeah.
full circle moment for Chucky if he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, San Diego FC have played friendlies now in the Coachella Invitational. Have you caught any of those games, or just kind of are there things that you've seen already that you like that you're kind of iffy about? I know a lot of people are talking about that back line. So what do you think,
No,
Cesar?
I'm actually curious where you guys are because I was vacationing in
That's
Europe.
right.
And
Yeah.
I was
Back
did
to back.
not catch a single one of those games. But and here's the thing: even if I am the kind of person who doesn't really care that much about preseason results, and I don't really like pay too much attention about that. But I once again, I'm going to throw this to you guys because when I look at this team, when I look at the way that they talk about this team, it's like okay, they're going to be possession base. They're going to want to play these tight spaces. Actually, there was a really good article. Joe Lowry over at Backheeled. He did a really good piece about the style of play, about the building from the back. And we could talk a little bit about what they want to do later about like with trying to get results from away games, which I find really interesting. But I have a question to you guys. Like, the more I look into it, I have questions about the defense, about goalkeeping, but it's going to be might still be entertaining. Maybe Chucky and the rest of the attack are going to compensate for that. What did you guys think about those results?
I mean, the first two results are really tricky just because the first game, in talking pre-match with Mikey Varas, they were on the last game of conditioning. So the Friday, the 24 hours, they were had a double training. They had dead legs. They were dead tired. So they were just trying to redline players. That's the result that you got 3-1 against
Right.
New York City FC. The next game is really the first step in developing the starting 11 for Galaxy. So you start to really put in your starters and really put some accents on there as well. Just relying on the players that you have available, knowing that Kumado is coming over on the right wing, and really just still having the fact that it's preseason really guide that. And the third game is just tighten things up, right? And you saw
Right.
that against a Red Bull side that from speaking with some people over in New York that follow closely with the Red Bulls, losing Andre Reyes, who is now with San Diego
Right.
FC on the center back position, was huge. And that is going to be one of the two biggest losses for them. But you saw it on the breakdown on their defense, right? Defensively, San Diego FC is going to live and die by the counterattack. There is there's no in between there. Like that's they are going to live at the maximum of everything and at the lowest of low for just production. When it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. I know Chiba, you saw it just as well as I did. Those transitions and how they were getting killed on that first game, especially against New York.
Yeah, and that's what Mikey Vara said that they're definitely are gonna have to work on, right? So I think they do like to play the quick build up and try to find the open space. And I mean, my God, Jeppe has a long ball that is a dart. Like
Okay.
he finds that space and he sends that long ball, and it worked out against Red Bull. And then I think Luca La Torres just is going to be an amazing piece in that midfield. I think he knows where to get the pass. He knows where to go with the ball. He knows how to finish as well. So I think he's definitely going to make a bigger impact than a lot of people anticipate. But I will say this: it almost feel based on the three games that we saw. Yes, they got the clean sheet against Red Bulls and they played great. It could have been that Red Bull also didn't have the best performance. We know sometimes good teams have bad
Yeah.
results as well. But it's looking like it's gonna be a Ferrari up in front and then kinda like a Carcachita on the back end. So, CJ on goal still doesn't convince me. I still
Yeah.
think he's very young. I think that maybe we see Pablo Cisniega getting the starting spot eventually. I don't know what's gonna happen there. But yeah, like the back line, Reyes didn't play at all in the preseason. He's dealing with like a sore knee or something. Mikey didn't say it would be an
It was a phantom
injury.
injury. It's phantom
Yeah.
injury.
See if I don't think he'll start against the Galaxy, but I think we'll most likely see Patty and McVeigh at the back line. And I still think Lofelson will start at right back. I don't think. Uh, I don't think. What's going on here? Oh, you muted me. Good. Sorry about that. I don't think Willy Kumado will start right away. I think Lofelson looked great at Coachella, and then Negri's going to be starting left back. But yeah, I mean, It's gonna be Godoy and Yepes starting in the midfield.
Yeah, and again, from these highlights that you get, right? Like it's interesting that this is the only highlight package that San Diego FC sent of the 3 matches, because obviously the most offense. But it's one of these things where you start to really see what Mikey and company are working on. There's definitely that possession style that they are going to want to keep. They want to keep the ball. They want to keep the timing. They want to decide what the tempo of the game is, and it's all going to go through number 6. Yepes Sverskov is going to be the metronome of San Diego FC, and he's going to have the duty of teaching everybody around him exactly what right to dream time is. And that means that you have to go ahead and make sure that you understand where you're supposed to be and where I need you to be. And that's where like the stubbornness is going to happen for San Diego FC. This is going to be a frustrating team when there is a clear pathway to tie a game, to win a game, to have some offense if you just switch up the style of attack. If you just switch something up and abandon the right to dream philosophy of playing and say, hey, just let these guys play. Let this be an ugly win. That's going to be up to Mikey Varas whether or not he's going to go ahead and then say, well, at least we got the tie, but I like the performance, or it was a loss, but I like the performance. Okay, you still didn't get the win. You could have gotten the win, but you stuck to this philosophy. But that's where you have those X factors like you see here. Anders Dreyers is going to be a star. Like this guy is just quality. Much like Chucky Lozano, there is something about the way that he plays and controls the ball that is just different. There's a different gear where he operates at. It's Super Saiyan 2, Gohan and Goku just chilling. They don't even need to be powering up. They're just chilling with the blonde hair. Like they are ready to go at any given time.
This past too. This
It's
past
just
tricky. Like,
yeah.
I think this front 3 is definitely going to turn a lot of heads in Vargas. Then it's gonna be like that poaching style of number 9, where he knows where to stand, he knows where to make the run, he can finish anywhere in the box. So this front 3 is going to be special, I feel like.
Note, we keep talking about offense and not defense.
Yeah, and that's gonna be really interesting, right? Because like, listen, I didn't know much about Dreyer before he signed with the club, but the more I read about him, the more people talk about him, the more it seems like people are really excited about this player, about what he was doing in Europe and what he can bring to MLS. Then you have Chucky on the other side. We know what Chucky is capable of. Yes, I said he's not the Chucky from 2018, but still, this Chucky from years later, he still has the potential to be a star in MLS. And what I find really interesting too is just, we'll see how the style of play continues going forward. Or obviously they're still working on that. They want that possession based style, and it seems like they might want to like continue that through away games, which is really interesting because I'm curious to see if they'll maintain that in away games, because one thing that fans are going to recognize when they're watching MLS is that it's really tough to get away wins and get away results in MLS. This isn't the Premier League where these teams are taking some short trips and just short little bus rides. Over at ESPN, we like crunched the numbers. Actually, I have like let's see, we crunched the numbers. It was back in 2023, but it just MLS teams win this is from data from like 2015, 2021, but they win just 24% of away games, and that's lower than the big European leagues. That's lower than what you see in other leagues in the Americas. And you look at a map and it's pretty obvious. You're like, okay, San Diego's in this part of the country. They're gonna have to go all over the place. We saw that obviously with Loyal and the amount of time, like the amount of travel they had to do, and it's going to be significant. So I do wonder, you're thinking, okay, the best way to survive all those away trips, to try to like steal some of those points away, it's to maybe maintain that same style of play, and maybe think that, oh, you know what, the best defense is an offense in which you hold on to the ball as much as you can. You still continue with your continued style of play, whether it be at home, whether it be away. I know it's really interesting, especially since this could be another conversation for another podcast. But fans are also going to see that in MLS, there's a lot of parity. Anything can happen on any weekend. Like, I'm genuinely saying that, and that's because that the GAM, the TAM, the salary, the reason why that's all in there is because it allows for a lot of parity. You look at the MLS champions for the last well, just for the entirety of the league. There's a significant amount of parity there, and you consider all the teams that go into the playoffs. So I'm really curious to see how San Diego keeps all of that in mind, and then you throw in, someone like Tyler Heaps has a data analytical background, which there are a lot of teams in MLS that don't really pay attention. I mean, it's soccer. This isn't baseball. A lot of teams aren't really capitalizing on that, and I'm really fascinated to see what Tyler's going to be doing, what kind of number crunch he's going to be doing, what kind of data analysis he's going to be looking at, what kind of video analysis he's going to be looking at, because that in itself is also very unique as well when it comes to MLS. So it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be a success. The article that I wrote about is talk about how Right to Dream will probably be a success, but it's interesting nonetheless, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, I will say this, Cesar.
Yeah,
Chucky is looking nice.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
He
Right.
is looking like he's on a different level. He's breaking ankles. He's leaving people behind. So,
And he barely got into match fitness. Like, let's not forget, like, that first training was rough. You and Aber out there, it was rough for
I think I
Chucky.
told Abe, se comió una docena de donas o algo.
Which, hey, it's part of it. It's part of it, right?
Le entró los munchies this offseason.
Las posadas estaban buenas. But you know what? Like, again, even at that level, right? Like, that quality that he has is just supersedes anything that pretty much was out there. Again, preseason. That's to be taken with a grain of salt. We did talk with Coach Mikey Varas too about actually him explaining to his squad, and I guess in one of the trainings they overlaid a map of Europe with the US just to put into context the travel. And obviously, like, that's going to be a big aspect of what San Diego has to deal with. And again, another built-in excuse. And this is something that can be taken, and we'll see how it unravels as if we do our job in the post-match and say, hey, what happened today? And well, they were tired, they were this, and if that just keeps being the narrative spun, or but again, a built-in excuse. You have Mikey Varas, who again is not an experienced coach at this level, is experienced in developing players, which is what this team is going to do. Again, Right to Dream, you can't separate the two. A system coach, but then you also have a revolutionary new way of building a team. You have all these aspects that can really just kind of put San Diego already planning for year 2 in a lot of ways, but waiting to be happily surprised for anything positive.
Yeah, 100%. And I hope they do capitalize on the Tijuana region too, if we want to go back to that as well, and finding that talent, because at least for me, the theme when it comes to Mexican soccer is that there is a lot of high potential with these players. We've seen them do well in youth tournaments. I mean, there's 3 Olympic gold medalists from Tijuana that won in the 2012 Olympics with Mexico. You could say, well, technically, Miguel Ponce was born in Sacramento, but he spent some time in Tijuana. But that says a lot about the potential there is within that region. And just sometimes what happens with a lot in Mexican soccer is that they just aren't given the same opportunities with the senior club teams. So I'm really fascinated to see if some of these options, and you could look down the list when it comes to these players. I mean, Ache, he's from there. Jorge Torres Nilo.
Yeah.
You look even on like the U.S. side, the Paul Arreola, Brandon Vasquez, who's a part of the Xolos system, but is from San Diego. There's a huge amount of potential there, and I hope that they're able to capitalize on that, because I don't know, it's an even different conversation too. To talk about like what Club Tijuana are doing. They're for a long time they consider themselves and they equipo sin fronteras. I'm not entirely sure if that's the truth anymore, like they used to be. I feel like they lost their Mexican American identity and their players, and just it's just so I'm really fascinated to see how SDFC are able to capitalize on that, just because even Xolos themselves, they're not. I know Juan Carlos Osorio is like doing a decent job, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of trust in that team right now.
Cesar, I want to ask: is there any possible way, like this is just hypothetical, that with everything and the process and the academy that San Diego FC has, is there any way they can pull Gilberto Mora away from Xolos?
I was thinking about that because I was like, because he's not originally from Tijuana, right? So he moved from where was he
Chiapas.
originally from? Yeah, I forgot where. Yeah, but I forgot. Yeah, for what city originally he's from. But if I was SDFC, I'd be asking questions right now and be like, how can we get this kid? Can
Yeah.
we legally can we have
Mhm.
him is there any is he interested? Are we because once again with the FIFA rules, they say it's 50 kilometers between the club headquarters to a border, and then where the player lives to that border, and then the club headquarters and the actual player, they have to be 100 kilometers of each other. If he is then staying as a youth player in Cholos, but is it from originally from Tijuana? Can SDFC then take Gilberto Mora and potentially
Mm.
sign him? I don't know. That's a question for that's a question for either FIFA or that's a question for either SDFC. But I really do hope that they're looking at him. And if not, I mean, uh, there are a number of rumors out there already about teams that are really interested in signing Gilberto Mora by the time he turns 18 because he looks like he's going to be one of the next big
Baller.
things in
Yeah,
Mexican
he's
soccer.
a
So
baller.
I'm really curious, if they're able to do that, or if because maybe it's not, maybe it has to be actual a Tijuana resident, someone who's born in Tijuana. But that's a question I have as well.
That'll be interesting to see if somehow that is. I mean, because they have Anissa Saidi, 16-year-old that they got from the Philadelphia Union, and you look at him in person, and Tony, you can agree.
That's not a
You're like,
16-year-old.
you're
Like I
16.
don't know what I don't know what.
He gives the bench warmer birth certificate. I am 12.
Yeah,
Like,
I got that. Sir is not a 16-year-old kid. Like, it's incredible. Like
because you look at, you remember having like Xavi and CJ Fodry in the loyal days, and you're like, seven morros.
yeah, that's a
This,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
sophomore in high
this
school.
dude, you're like, no, this dude is 23.
Sir,
Like
Señor.
he's tall, he's built like. I mean, I have high hopes that he has a successful career here in San Diego as well. But that's another kid, one of those another kids. Sorry, like they have at 16 years old. That's the same age as Gilberto over in Cholo.
Yeah.
So we'll see how San Diego FC develops those talents. But coming up next for San Diego FC, Cesar, we have LA Galaxy against San Diego FC in their first game in MLS ever. Obviously, Galaxy went through to changes. What can you tell us a little bit about the defending champions?
Well, right now, this isn't going to be the side that you had last season. Obviously, they were able to win their championship without Ricky Pooch, their midfielder, but this was a player who was incredibly important to them, and I'm really curious to see how they're able to, I don't know, adapt without him. Yes, they have someone like Marco Royce. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Marco Royce is on the team! Like this is a world class player." But this is Marco Royce when he first showed up to the Galaxy, and even in his any games that he played with for them, like he didn't look like he was a 90 you know, minute plus player. So I'm really curious to see like if he's able to make much of a mark with this team. So let's say he's not having the best amount of time or the best time up there the start of the season, then you'll have to look at someone like Peck or Paintsel, who are incredibly talented wingers that the SDFC are going to have to deal with right there, and it's going to be a tough one as well because the Galaxy are also in a rebuild of sorts because it's just with each passing year, with salary caps, with roster rules. Even if a team that has success, they're going to have to rebuild because people move on to new contracts, they move into different situations. The Galaxy are doing that. I'm still not entirely sure if they're able to win again, especially since Ricky Pooch was such a pivotal piece for them, and I'm still not entirely sure when he's supposed to come back. It's I think it's a lengthy amount of time. So that being said, it's going to be tough, especially at Galaxy right now, where last season the home crowd was really starting to bounce back. The MLS Cup final that I went to recently, that was was probably the loudest that that the stadium has been, at least for a game that I've covered since the debut that Zlatan made for the Galaxy. So
Yeah.
it's not only going to be a team that has a lot of power in the wings, but it's also a team that's going to have, I don't know, an immense amount of support. And I'm really curious to see how many SDFC fans are going to make the trip up there, or how many tickets are even allocated for SDFC up to that game.
I'm pretty sure I saw a number of like maybe 500. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know somebody out there has that info, but yeah, I mean, that's who you're going up against. You are going up against the reigning defending champions. I know they won't deal with Paintsill this weekend just because he's out with a quad injury until April. Look at us knowing MLS players and
Look
where
at
they're
you
at.
guys.
Like,
Look at you guys. Check
right?
this out. Already extras. Season hasn't even started. You guys are on it.
Still can't tell you what GAM is. But yeah, I mean that's an interesting wrinkle with LA Galaxy too, because recently they were in the dumps with the fan base. They were really just going through it, and that's something that I think can't be understated. Where it was the fan base that really was on the verge of I mean, they gave their back to the front office because they felt the front office gave them the back, and then out of that rose this championship run. And I think that's the best way things can be mended. Is this a league where really that's still allowed? It's still available? You know, we talk about how what was here with San Diego Loyal 1904. You can talk with, front office and they were personable and they were this. And then you hear the story of, well, Galaxy, one of the, if not the biggest franchise in MLS, having these sort of issues that needed to be dealt with in the front lines with the fan base. They were the ones that said, hey, we need to change. There was change. Here's the MLS Cup. Is this a league that's possible? Say,
yes.
San Diego FC needs to do that?
Well, yeah, of course. The supporters group, they spoke with what matters the most. It was just like by not going to the games and protesting it. And that's protesting by not giving dollars. Am I right? And I think that there is a responsibility for fans to hold teams accountable. And that's why I could go on and on and on about how good Right to Dream is and how Chucky is going to be a special player, Dryer's is going to be a special player. But at the same time, there are probably people who are listening to this who are thinking, "Hey, man, like this team, was part of the reason why Loyal aren't around anymore." And there are people who are listening to this who are also thinking, "I'm a Wave fan, and why would I want to support this team that is going to push us back when it comes to priority in this stadium, which they have had some of the best numbers in women's soccer." So I completely understand those who are skeptical, and I think it is up to SDFC to have to win over those fans because these fans can't be taken for granted. And at the same time, too, those who also are currently fans of the team, I think, like I said, it's also their responsibility to hold these teams accountable. It's also their responsibility to, if you have concerns, if you aren't happy, then you can voice those concerns by not going to games, by organizing, by speaking with other supporter groups and trying to find ways to convey those frustrations. So yeah, I think the Galaxy were able to do that, and it's actually a really fascinating story, and it led to changes within the Galaxy front office. And now look at where the Galaxy are at. Yes, they're going to have to change. I think Will Kuntz himself, the general manager of the Galaxy, said that it's because of the nature of this sport. It's only a matter of time before there's going to be Will Kuntz out protest and whatnot. That's just how it is in soccer. But fans do have a power, and I think fans have to recognize that, and that they are, like I said, I think accountability is a key aspect here when it comes to the connection between the fans and also to a team.
Definitely, I agree. And I mean, is it too early? I mean, it's a few days away.
I don't know what to tell you about prediction, dude. Like I don't know, dude. Like it's good to hear. Like again, the number here, Esteban and excuse me, Brandon provided 800 supporter tickets, all sold out from SDFC. So congratulations. I know their number had surpassed 2,000 for the Union. Again, knowing these stories of the people involved, going up to in buses with semi-free transportation to watch a game to Orange County. Just again, the people that you get to meet in this is what makes this all special. But Godspeed to everybody. Please be safe. I guess there's just threats. Yeah, LA versus San Diego. Hey, I mean it's part of it, right? Unfortunately,
Yeah, just don't. I mean, just don't be dummies. Just
Yeah.
don't be like. Here's it's like I've seen it. I've seen it with LA Galaxy and LAFC rivalry games. You'll see some ugly scenes, but it's just in the end, it's a game. It's entertainment. It's a sport. It's don't don't invite threats. Don't be aggressive in that match. It's just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to the soccer community. Just go out there, have fun, be respectful. More than anything else, this is once again, this is just a sport in the end. What's the saying? It's like of all of like, which I think it speaks a lot about how my own feelings about soccer, but also just puts into context how I feel about the sport too. Just like of the least important things in life, soccer is the most important, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just it's not for me, it's not, at the very, very top of everything that matters the most, but at the same time, obviously it's something that's still so important to me. But this is still a game in the end, and just please be safe out there, be respectful, but have a good time. But yeah, just don't be dummies. Just don't be dummies out there.
And I'll
100.
say the
Yeah.
excitement is definitely there. I made it out to this latest party at Snapdragon. I don't know, so many parties, Crumball tours, and gatherings. Like I lost track, but like it's the second time actually in the buildup of San Diego FC that I felt like okay, there's something happening. The first one was at the
Yeah.
Chula Vista Chrome Ball tour, where I'm like, okay, they turned a page. The marketing, there were some
Yeah.
false starts on a lot of fronts, just self inflicted. But at the same time, they turned a corner. This last Sunday, I saw that same sort of thing. I'm like, okay, like people are going to come to these games. There's smiles. There's people, like, man, you hate to see it, but like el tío, like old tío who brought his nephews who didn't know that I was a ticketed event that told us, hey, mijos, vamos to see, let's go see. And they're just waiting out in the front. And God bless my girl. She was like, I have 4 extra tickets. Go and give it to him. I was
Oh
like, oh, okay.
wow. Okay.
And I was like, hey, ¿qué onda, tío? Like, hey, ya se me pasó, pero aquí están los boletos que le dijo. And they're just like, what? Like, los boletos para que entren. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Okay, cool. I'm like, you kid, no, le vas a la América. No. But no, like it's definitely just in the air now. Where it's here. MLS in San Diego is here. Starting officially on March 1st with the first home game, but February 23rd, up in Carson and the Dignity Health Sports Park. It's I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like it's actually here and talking about this in theory club in theory now it's going to be in practice, and now these games are going to count. It's definitely an interesting time. And where excitement level, I mean, for you, right? Like you get to have this kind of work outlet. Is this something that you're going to keep following? Like I know people love your articles and look towards your reading your writings. But is this kind of on that personal note, like good for business, hopefully?
I have no idea. I wish I had an answer. I wish I had a better answer to that. No, I mean honestly, I think it's all the same. I just happen to be living in San Diego, I guess is the way that I guess I'll put it there, just because of but we'll see how it evolves, just because for the most part, like I said, I just write more national, bigger, wider stories where I'll look at different themes like happening in MLS and Liga MX and NWSL. I'll be having some NWSL pieces coming out soon for the Mexican national team, the U.S. men's national team. So I think because of that, I'm not going to be a beat writer for SDFC. I mean, clearly you won't be seeing me at all of the games, but you'll
Mhm.
probably be seeing me at like most of them, more than half, I guess you could say. I'll be out there, just because it's the local team in town, and obviously with Chucky Lozano, there's a lot of interest there. But for me, I mean, I guess that's less irrelevant for. I think for me, it doesn't really matter too much, but I'm more curious about for the San Diego soccer community. Obviously, I've been waiting for this for quite some time, and I'm really interested for people to dive into this, into MLS, and to what this means for you guys. What this is going to be, because that's going to be a huge opportunity for you guys. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll go to half the games. We'll see. Maybe I'll write a few stories this season. I have no idea. But for you guys, it's going to be a very big deal. And I'm really excited to see how you guys develop, how you guys will continue to evolve, because you guys have made leaps and strides like over the last few years. It's actually been incredibly impressive. And I hope that through this, I hope that other outlets are also going to be paying attention to you guys. I'm sure you're going to be getting a lot more emails, a lot more DMs about being like, hey, can you tell us this and that about SDFC? And I'm really curious about the rest of the fan base in soccer to really dive into, I don't know, like MLS publications, diving into Soccer Wise, reading Matt Doyle, watching Andrew Wiebe, watching, or shout out to Mikel Giannone from who lives in East Village, who shout out to him, who just got hired. He's going to be an MLS insider, probably the smartest guy in San Diego when it comes to MLS. Everybody go follow Mikel Giannone. He talks about it in English and Spanish.
I'll follow him in East Village. Like actually,
hey, what's up, Michele? No, so I'm really curious to see how people dive into MLS through the Athletic, obviously stuff I'll be doing at ESPN. So it's gonna be a whole nother level for you guys and for the San Diego soccer community. So I'm really curious to see how this pans out.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly exciting, and I mean the opportunities, like you said, are incredible, and the fact that we are having these conversations and being able to help people understand soccer in San Diego is definitely the biggest of the privileges here to do. And I mean, again, that's expectations. Like even at work, even I hope you do this too at work, Cesar. Like they have expectations of you, but guess what? You have expectations of them, and this goes both ways on every front. Like much like there's expectations on us, we have expectations on what we would want to see, either as a San Diegan, either as a, I don't even know, just amalgam of guy, camera, microphone. Like at this point, that's kind of what we've become. Like talking with the players, like, hey, if I'm just that safety blanket and I'll say thank you in your language, then let me be that outlet for you today.
Yeah, there you
and that's really the cool aspect of all of this. And they're human beings at the end of the day. Like they're just people playing soccer. They're just people playing soccer, playing a silly game, and having the time of life with it. And it's really going to be a fun and unprecedented time here in San Diego, and we'll see if they can continue that success. And I mean, hopefully they can get a soccer-specific stadium in there. No mention of stadium.
Well, yeah, obviously that's yes, it's I would call it hybrid. A hybrid. I wouldn't call it soccer, but a hybrid stadium is the way that I view it. Yeah,
That's a better term for it.
Yeah. I call it I remember when we spoke to Tom Penn, like off camera, was like, "Oh, you're going to Coldplay? I'm going to Coldplay. What day are you going? This day? Oh, well, it's not a soccer specific. It's a Coldplay specific." He did not like that. He did not like that. But
it's tough to get. I mean, it's tough to get something built in San Diego, whether it be a stadium, whether it be a house. It's incredibly difficult. So obviously, if there was going to be an MLS team in town, it had to be through Snapdragon Stadium. Obviously, there could have been a different conversation altogether if a certain measure was passed a handful of years ago, and then would have been a different landlord as opposed to SDSU. But yeah, it's tough to it's just the hand that they were dealt with at that point. Yeah.
it's inevitable. Cesar, I really love your time here. Is there anything else that you feel like we need to explore here? Saying like there's just so much, but then again, I can just say, well, in days time, there's going to be a game that we can talk about, and then everything that happened before almost doesn't matter because now it's go go go. It's the season. Go.
Yeah, I think I guess what the other thing that I kind of like hinted at that I'm really interested to see, like in conversations maybe that you guys will have with him, but just Tyler Heaps is really interesting to me. I mean, I wrote about Joaquin Escoto and what he was doing over at the grassroots level with Alianza. I think he's a secret weapon of sorts when it comes to SDFC. But Tyler Heaps, I think, because I don't think people realize that, like I mentioned earlier, that analytics in soccer, it's not a given for every single team. I think the publication American Soccer Analysis last year, they talked about, I think it was like 5 or 6 MLS teams that have 0 full-time data analysts. Like just And SDFC basically have a guy who's at the background of data analytics who's going to be running the show, right? I'm really, really, really fascinated because right now in the soccer world, and I can talk about this for far too long, and you guys will be, and I'll be here for another hour. But like in the soccer world, it's tough to really dive into data analytics. This isn't baseball where it's just like pitcher throws something
Yes.
at the batter and batter swings. Does he hit it? Yes. Does he hit? No. But just in soccer, it's 11v11. It's low scoring. It's really, really tough to figure that out. I was chatting with Jeff Lanau, who used to work for the Astros, won a World Series for them. Infamously, is no longer with them anymore. But now he's working in the soccer world. But he was telling me that there's huge opportunities right now in the soccer world because there is a gulf between those who do use data analysis and those who do and don't, and those who are trying to be on the forefront in that. And I think it's really interesting to see that SDFC have an ambitious young hire when it comes to Tyler. So I think that maybe it's a conversation you guys will have. Maybe I'll bother him at some point and be like, all right, there's obviously much more than just XG here and expected goals that we could talk about or expected threat. Like what are you looking at? Is it video analysis? Is it just like do you chat with others in the league? Like do you chat with players about some of this stuff? Do you try to keep it simple? I don't know. I think there's a huge potential of that in the soccer world, and I'm just seeing that as SDFC as a vehicle is something that might be really interesting that maybe I'll write about down the line. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's just one more thing to keep an eye on. Outside of Right to Dream, outside of Chucky, outside of being able to scout players from Mexico, outside of a new team, stepping in here, but just having a young guy like that who was working at Monaco, before, so and working the Right to Dream setup. So I think that's something to keep an eye on, just because it really does interest me a lot.
Yeah, no, he's a super genius. Like you just talk to the guy and like you get this no respect, like Silicon Valley dude, like just like a very lax guy, but you put him into his element and he's just a machine at what he does. And his scouting network is incredible. I mean, Oni Valakari was playing in Cyprus, not the hill, the country. Like that's I don't know, like where he kind of
I've heard
was
that
told about
joke
that
so
one.
many times now with you, and it's still fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
it's a good one.
It's a good one. Okay, we got a couple of Esteban and other
All right, I'm gonna go
score
with
prediction.
I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw,
Oh,
and I think that's a big result for San Diego FC.
I think a 2-1 loss. I think a 2-1 loss is gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I mean, I was literally just talking about how it's tough in away games. I know it's gonna be a short drive up of the freeway up to Carson, but it's gonna be difficult. SDFC is still figuring things out. I think personally, if I was a fan of the team, I think as long as a team is competitive in that first game, I think I would be happy. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a 2-1 loss right there.
I have to agree with you. And even then, I do think it can be a 3-1 loss for San Diego, only because a 2-1 is indicative of a 1-1 tie at some point, right? It's never a 2-0 situation. They got one back, and I could see this being 1-1, 2-1 Galaxy in the 70th minute, and at that point, you're trying too far to go and expand the an attack and open yourself up behind, and boom, counterattack. And again, this based on what we've seen at the Coachella Valley Invitational. Like there are definite holes that are going to be plugged up by the talent and the names, right? Like they have a good, solid player in every third of the pitch in their lineup. At least one. Dreyers, Chucky. In the middle, you have Sverskov, who's quality, but you also have Luca de la Torre. In the back, Rums quality with Patty McNair, throwing some experience with Andres Reyes, who think Sergio Ramos in terms of like intensity, in terms of red card ability, in terms of tackling like that. So he might not be playing again fitness wise, but just in the long term, like this is kind of what it's going on. And I would love nothing else than the name of the city of San Diego to be held up high with a victory. And honestly, like I would hope nothing else, and I hope that the fan base is happy with that. And that's I think a good performance. Here I am. I always
Okay,
I say
Tony.
like a good
Okay.
performance by San Diego FC with a 3-1 loss that you could really see start to develop against real-time MLS teams and talent that, okay, this is the direction they want to go. They'll figure it out. If they figure it out and they peak at the right point, they can go ahead and squeak into playoffs. Great. Fantastic. Yeah.
What happens if they come in and they just slap Galaxy 4-0?
It's an interesting litmus test. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I was like. I'll be having a preview coming out soon, but just like it is a really, really fascinating litmus test, and I don't think it'll be a big deal no matter what happens. And also, I hate to be the kind of spoiler who says this, but it's MLS. It's easy for teams to qualify for the playoffs. You really have to be bad. You really have to be bad. So it's like even if they have a bad first 10 games, who cares? It's okay. It's a Major League Soccer. It's easy to get. You could go in as a wild card and still be a threat in the championship. So I wouldn't worry too much, even if it takes a bit of time for them to have to adjust.
And here comes a new challenger with a fantabulous Abraham
Abe,
Cepeda,
Abe, what's your
who's
prediction?
been watching from the rafters like Sting in the
He's like,
WCW.
I'm gonna
just
say my
waiting.
prediction. Abe, what's your prediction?
You were there at the
I
Coachella
got
Invitational.
2-0 LA Galaxy. I was actually next to some LA Galaxy coaches, some scouts. Greg Vaney walked by too. He was talking with them during the Coachella Valley Invitational in like the VIP area. They kind of liked what they were seeing. They thought that they were talking about some things that they knew they could handle. I think you look at some of the defenders, especially, they were mentioning. I think that Galaxy will easily win 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just came in to just dash. Everybody's just like, but maybe nope. I have it on good authority from being one of the only people at the Coachella Valley Invitational covering San Diego FC that this covers. Like, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. This is why.
But maybe the coaches are just being a little too cocky, and then San Diego FC is gonna slap them across the face. We'll see. I still think that you can't count out the champions.
A shout out to Football Mania also out there, being able to.
Yeah, he was there too. He's awesome. He was asking good questions and stuff.
Absolutely, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Abe, I was gonna save you to go over like specific the highlights too, but I appreciate you jumping in and the melding of the minds. The two real journalists here, like legitimate.
Yeah.
Like let's.
Cesar's a real journalist. I'm barely here. And they left. Oh.
We all started somewhere. We all started somewhere. Abe. That's
true.
you already got a head start at your age in comparison to what I was doing at your age. So yeah, you could easily surpass me by the time you hit your mid-30s.
I mean, I'm only 23, but
No, you're not.
Yeah. She was like 40.
We can all agree here. Jeez.
Yeah, you know what? I saw Tony giving you a massage before the podcast started.
Yes,
Like
was.
you're that much of an old man.
yeah. Well, you know what? I tried to go up in weight at the gym, and my body's not ready for that since my car accident, and I pinched the nerve, and I can barely move my neck.
We were supposed to film a promo for our charity match coming up. We're at the YMCA, but that stopped it.
Yeah.
Like that legitimately stopped it. Like we were ready.
It's just gonna get worse. That's why I don't do bridge bar kata anymore. I used to do bridge bar kata every single week, and then I would throw up my back, and then I like went to go see a doctor. He's like, "Well, that's just what's gonna happen. You're that age now." And then my knees are like bad, and like my yeah, man. It's just something for all of you guys to look forward to. I didn't go to the SDFC like media game. Like I don't do like the like it sucks. It sucks. I was a terrible soccer player anyways, like so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's why I just write about it now.
What are you doing February 28th?
Probably not like soccer, throwing out my back and then not being able to.
You want to?
Not being able-
I'm just saying, like,
You invite me to it.
if you
I'll
wanna
watch a
come
game.
out, Okay.
I'll watch a game. I'll watch a game, but like, is that the charity game you guys are having on that
Yeah,
day?
that's
Is that what it
Yep.
is? Ah,
February
okay.
28th, Friday, the day before the first ever home game for San Diego FC, actually.
Yes, I'm definitely not playing. So I injure
not
myself and I'm
risky.
out for a week. Because I am out for a week when I throw out my back now.
Just Caesar comes into Snapdragon in a wheelchair, just like I need
What?
to cover this game.
One day, dude, guys, one day you are gonna see me like in a wheelchair because that's how bad it is when I throw out my back. So I don't play anymore.
We're gonna be in the press box like, Caesar, did we do something to you? Why are you all the way over there? It's like, well, there's steps to the front row. Like, put them there. But one thing is cross generational is our love and admiration for Pokemon. So right now we'll take the time. Cesar, what is your favorite Pokemon?
Let's see. Probably.
I love how you're prepared for this, Abe. I don't know what you're doing, but you're prepared.
I've been
Okay.
waiting to see Caesar at one of these press conferences. I have like some cards
guys,
from Japan that I need to give him.
Wait. Give me
Ooh.
like 10 seconds. I'll grab my Pokemon cards.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
go
this
for
has
it.
just turned absolutely spicy. I actually have a Pokemon analysis metaphor for this last game for San Diego FC 6-0, right? It's like if you have a level 50 Onyx, which is a rock type, fighting up against a level 30 Squirtle with SDFC. If the matchup is correct, the Squirtle is going to beat the hell out of that Onyx every single time, even if it is a level 50 Onyx. It's still a water type, so it's a matchup situation. Those matchups melded perfectly for SDFC's benefit. You got a quick 1-2 HP combo, and boom, Onyx goes down. Here's your first badge. Anyway,
I think the issue though with the Galaxy versus STFC is I think that the Galaxy, based off what they were last season, that they're this Blaine's Japanese Charizard that I have, or this holographic that I have
my
right
God,
there.
oh my God, Abe is
Maybe, and then but unfortunately, I think SDFC, they're probably. I have my full. They're probably a Cubone. Let's say they've got some potential there.
Their mother
Which would
died,
be
bro.
like
I mean, S Loyal kind of died.
Oh wow.
You know what? That's actually incredibly appropriate.
Cubone.
They, SDFC wears the skull of San Diego Loyal, and that's apropos, actually.
yeah.
But yeah, you dweebs, go ahead and stay in Pokemon Land. I'll just chill in my angsty ass Yu-Gi-Oh phase. So just Monster Reborn your ass right now. Boom. Anybody can get it.
You guys made a mistake by bringing up Pokemon because I will literally linger for another like hour and continue to talk about the different cards. Obviously, there's soccer to be talked about though.
That Charizard is dope, man.
Yeah, no,
It's
like
crazy.
that's please, like say guard
My
that.
Japanese, I got this this Japanese like holographic Blastoise too.
Jesus.
Anywho, I'll stop. It's just
Yeah, no, like you're making Abe sad. Like legitimately, he's gonna open your packs in hope of getting one of those right now. Actually, no, man, I love this. You're gonna see that press box is just gonna become just trading card land. Let's duel. Let's run some games. You got Magic. You guys play Settlers of Catan.
I'm all about Settlers. I actually have the soccer edition of Settlers.
Whoa. I didn't know there was a soccer edition.
There's a soccer edition of
tables-
Settlers.
Those tables where everybody eats are circular and would lend themselves very well for a game of soccer Catan. So
I love Settlers. I play probably like once every couple months. I'm not that good, but anywho, maybe I'll have to bring the soccer edition one day, and we'll play Settlers of Catan soccer edition. It's cool. You get to like flick something, and it looks like a little ball. Yeah, it's cool.
the IQ of this podcast has grown substantially. However, the coolness has definitely subsided.
I've never been cool. It's fine.
We've never
I
been.
think we just got cooler.
We've never been cooler. Yeah, no, we have a Rubik's Cube here that Abe solves in 10 seconds. It's incredible here. But Cesar, again, I love and respect so much of what you do, and I love seeing you around and really coming on down and becoming more than a pal. Is there anything else that we can see you or just have? I know you're mentioning a prediction or perhaps a forecast of what's to come. What's on the horizon for Cesar H. Football?
Well, outside of obviously the most exciting thing to eventually be doing another episode of Club Deportivo Movie Club, obviously with Drew on this network when I take off my journalist hat and I'm just me watching movies and hanging out with Drew. So that'll be coming out. I guess we still have to figure that out. What movie we're going to watch next? Drew's the one who's running all that, but at least from a journalistic perspective, with ESPN, I'll be hopefully having something coming out next week regarding the NWSL. I'm really fascinated about the end of the college draft and how that impacts players and how players feel about that and the new incoming rookie class. So I'll be probably coming out at some point soon, probably a couple more NWSL things. Always writing about, always, usually like every now and then we'll be posting stuff on Blue Sky about like, Liga MX. I'll probably have some articles coming out on that as well. Always following the Mexican national team, the U.S. men's national team. And outside of that, I guess, eventually playing Settlers of Catan with you guys and showing off my Pokemon cards.
Hell yeah.
I know, actually, you know what? I would feel really uncomfortable with, like, moving my Pokemon cards outside of home that lead to a panic attack. So I think you guys won't be able to see that on camera because I'd be petrified about bringing those to a game.
Yeah, no. You went over to open your safe, I hope, to pull those out.
Yeah.
That's how important those items are. If not, no, never bring them next to Abe because you will steal them. Were you that kid, Abe? Just kind of planting and plotting how to steal people's cards?
No, definitely not.
That's what
I didn't
somebody
care
did.
so much about like if they're real or not either. I would always just get like the fake ones from the swap meet, or I would print some out if I saw a cool one. I would just like print it and then like cut the paper and stuff. So I didn't care about
do that.
it.
Sometimes you had to do that. Yeah.
Did you get tazos, Abe? Were you that?
I didn't collect them. Like if someone always collected them, I would always just give it to them. I didn't really care that much about the tassels.
See, Cesar, did you get
No.
tazos?
Wow.
No.
Yeah, no, I was a menace.
I think Tassos were just going to school in TJ type of thing.
We went to school in TJ.
Yeah.
No, like it got intense down there, guys. Like I when I tell you that having a Lugia at and risking a Lugia and to entice everybody, but you're so good at tazos that you just know that any tazo that gets put from them is gonna match it, and you're just gonna win that. I've made so many kids cry just by taking their collection.
So many kids cry.
Yeah. That was just last week, dude. But again, it's part of living in this region, living in this area. But Cesar, again, Cesar H. Football on Blue Sky. Check him out. Club Deportivo Movie Club, and anything soccer related that he does on ESPN, because that is, that's who pays the bills.
Yes, that's my home. That's where I put all my stuff up there. Credit to them for giving me a home to write about all those different things I find really fascinating about North American soccer. So yeah, we find my stuff up there up on Blue Sky, and thanks to you guys. Thank you for having me back on the pod. Always a lot of fun, man. It's always a lot of fun just hanging out here, chilling with you guys, and I wish you guys, once again, the best luck going forward. It comes down to us. Excited to see the evolution of you guys, see the evolution of Abe, and really excited to see where you guys go with this, because it's gonna be. I can tell that some people consider me a Charizard, but I think you guys have the ability to become a Mega Charizard down the line, and I'm really excited to see like you guys like level up in that manner.
That's my love language. You just spoke like that was right here, man. Right here, man. No, but thank you, Cesar. Follow him on everything he does, Cesar H. Football. But yeah, I mean, appreciate you, man, and hopefully we see you out there. And let's keep this nerdiness talking. We still owe you a kickabout. So let's.
I know.
Let's do that.
Maybe the home opener.
Oh, I like that. March 1st. All right, Cesar. Really appreciate your time, man. Get to rest. Put those away. Go be a great plant parent.
I gotta take care of them.
And a cat dad.
And
that
a cat,
too.
Cat dad.
Yeah. That as well. All right. Great times, guys. And I'll probably see you out there, the home opener. See you all around.
All right. Have a good one, Cesar.
Hey, what's up, Abe?
Hey, Abe. Thank you for hanging out. We're gonna come back to you actually. After the Sarape, because we have a 6-0 game that we need to break down that you were there for, Abe, and you need to let us know if it was the real deal, Holyfield, if that ball was tampered with, what happened, as well as San Diego Wave coming up as we wrap up this initial part of our coverage of San Diego FSA. FC San Diego. San Diego FC.
Real quick tease. There were pitch issues for the Wave.
Oh.
Oh.
Nothing that they're not familiar with. Something that San Diego FC
Hilarious.
Okay, I like that tease. We'll be right back with that. But right now, let's conclude this first part of SDFC coverage. All right, and so we're in resets. We're staying on that lane of SDFC because, of course, we have segments, we have videos. I work hard on them. Next up, we're going to go ahead and bring up a friend who we've mentioned it with Cesar, one of these people that we've met along the way that live, breathe, and are working hard and dedicating time, dedicating just effort, dedicating everything for this team that's coming up. It's going to start February 23rd up in Dignity Health Sports Park, San Diego FC. He's actually part of La Barra 18. He's actually very involved with the rollout of the new kit. I don't know if you noticed, I have the new kit up here. That's the Old Navy special. It's not. I see Josue looking like closer into his. It's like neta vato. Like no, that's
puro orgánico, compa.
It's an Old Navy. I just stuck the sticker on there.
We're gonna go ahead and start our Zarape de San Diego segment.
Let's go. We're going to welcome all the way from the Inland Empire, but now here locally, Josue from Barra 18 /
What's up? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you, man?
I was tripping on that jersey on the wall. I was like, what is that? ¿Dónde? Spring Valley Swap Meet? ¿Dónde? Okay.
Hey,
por ahí.
You know what? I'm glad that you selected the right swap meet at least. That you know.
Heck yeah, dude.
Don't give me that. You keep telling me, the Santee swap meet nowadays.
Nowadays, the Santee swap meet used to be it. You have to get there at 5 a.m. or else the good stuff is gone. But who the hell is driving to Santee?
Yeah, I've never been. I've never attended the Santee.
Never been.
Yeah, well, I mean, Spring Valley gets the job done. You get there like at 10. You walk around, that's pendejo for like an hour.
Nachos.
The nachos come in clutch at that point. There's not a line, but it's still good. Llenos desayuno. You spend some time at the Yu-Gi-Oh tent, duel some people. Like, bro.
Dude, you guys had me going crazy. I had my cards all ready to go too.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Poliwhirl, the one that has like the little swirl on him.
Oh,
as a kid, I've always liked them, but Cubone.
Are we the same guy? Poliwhirl's my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, Poliwhirl's a shit, man.
Oh,
hey, can I cut por encima las palabras?
No, está bien. Cesar's gone. Red time's over. Like, it's fine. ESPN can't get him.
Poliwhirl, dude. Especially, I don't know, for some reason, I think my mom obviously took notes, but I even had like a Poliwhirl cake for like my 6th birthday or something. So good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, I love that.
Esteban here saying that they are selling merch at Costco now, SDFC official merch.
Oh, yeah, Costco. I did see that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we'll get to the away kit that Josue is wearing because there is something to speak of and about actually seeing it in person. But going back to the Costco thing, I actually spoke to somebody pretty high up with SDFC front office. I'm like, hey guys, on Sunday, I'm like, hey, you guys are in Costco, and they're like, wait, really? I was like, yeah, you guys are in Costco. It's like, oh, well, we were having talks with them, but I didn't know that we were. I'm like, yeah, you guys are in Costco. You guys are in the Poway one, Santee one, and this one. People are posting about it, and it's all good.
Yeah, instead of DirecTV, it says Kirkland.
Oh, bro, that'd be so sick. That I would legitimately actually buy it. Like I would legitimately just buy it for that, and
that would be sick. Actually.
And just respect points for it. It's actually comfortable. 100%. Hey, terrible Padre SDFC memes beat us to it because we were going to break the news here. I have the picture ready to go. But Josue, you are wearing the away kit that was unveiled this last week. With celebrations and all that good stuff. The community kit. You were actually part of the rollout with your involvement through Barra 18. How did this come about?
It was I wouldn't say last minute, but it was probably like a week prior to the jersey being released. I was only aware of what had been leaked. That one blurry, pixelated photo
Who did
that
that?
floated around. That made me feel some type of way. I'm not gonna lie. But being there, once they let me know, they're like, "Hey, you wanna do this thing for the jersey? We're trying to get the community involved, the supporter groups." And I was like, "Dude, I'm for it." And I was still kind of skeptical. I was ready to see what I saw at the pixelated photo, and that was just a different experience once you see it firsthand. Like, it was a trip. But yeah, it all happened so fast. It was like we did it like, I don't know if I'm still allowed to say information, but yeah, we did like a week prior, and then that following Friday that jersey was out. So
Yeah,
it was crazy.
it's a completely different jersey in person. Like that's one thing that I will say for sure.
Oh, definitely.
In person, está diferente. Like
It got me hyped. It has that little like wave little pattern on the jersey. It makes it look. I think it's like a gray or a cream, but it makes it look like a little nice little cream off white color. I've seen a lot of people complain about it online. Not a lot of people, right? A few complaints online that it look like Argentina or
Mhm.
Uruguay, but I feel like every other they would have nitpicked at anything. It would have been Blaugrana, and they would have, it looks like Barcelona, right? So I think it's a clean jersey. I like it more than the home. I'm not gonna lie. But this is clean. I don't know. I was at a loss for words. This is really clean. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I mean,
Chiva, you always have thoughts on. You always have thoughts on
I'm the
kits.
one person that doesn't have thoughts on jersey. I just want to see a good team on the field and playing
same.
good. That is my only critique. My only critique about the jerseys for San Diego City is it's not even with San Diego City. It's more with Adidas. I think Adidas can just get a little more creative with their kit. Because to me, this is just a template kit. LAFC has the similar style for their away kit. It's just gold, and it has the collar. So I think that's more of an Adidas thing, not to nitpick at everything that SDFC. But
Same with the Euro. I think they just released the Euro kits, and they all kind of it's the same, different colors.
like there's nothing like different kits that you see over like in Italy in the Serie A. Like there's just like Venezia, like those kits are one of a kind. But
Yeah,
Adidas will always kind of come out with those template kits. But again, it looks clean. It's
we're gonna
safe.
get there. We'll get there.
It'll look good on the field. And to me, my biggest thing is I just want to see what the numbers look like on the field because I hate when you can't tell the numbers apart from the kit. Like you have to explain like, you know what it is? I like when the numbers pop. So we'll see how it looks like on the field.
I agree. And somebody asked me online because I had some words, and it's mostly not even on the design, like on the design itself. Like it's mostly on just the wording of some things and just the marketing aspect of things where
Yeah,
I took exception to, and we'll. I'm actually gonna get that on goals, gaps, and grades. But overall, like if they ask me like point blank, what I rate this kit? It's a 7. Like that's just a C. Bang average. Like it's harmless. Like it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing particularly right with it. Just don't tell me that it's a blank canvas that represents the community.
yes.
Like
Sometimes I feel like the club might be aiming towards like I wouldn't say a different market, but maybe like just a different type of crowd that they're trying to aim at, playing it safe that way. But they're not. Probably the average fan might not be the the intended target for it because like I feel like not I wouldn't say diehard fan, but every casual probably were the ones that were complaining about the jersey, and other people were indifferent. This one they hit it out the park. If I'm comparing it to the other ones, but this one's it, man. I really like it. What was your thoughts of the home compared to this one?
I kind of like that the home kit is like just a little darker. It's the blue. Kind of because I mean they promote that they're chrome and azul. So
Yeah,
I mean I think they both look pretty good. If I had to rate it, I would rate it like a 7.5, both of them. I think they're both just as interesting to see. And again, there's nothing that stands out and is fantastic about it to me. And then there's nothing that's just ugly and like not a good kid. Like also, it's just safe kid, and I like it. And again, It's not terrible.
And both kids look way better once you have it in
100%.
hand in person.
I'll give you that. Like both kids look better in person than when you see them on a picture. So
Dear San Diego,
Did like a little poem, a little
we are
slam
often
poetry.
overlooked.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Underdog
Facing
story waiting to be
from
heard.
Coronado.
Our climate
Again,
gives us the perfect reason to
it's
step
part of
outside
the
and meet the kind
model
of
that has to
people
go,
come
and
lifelong
you know,
friends.
this is where it's at, and you're
Our
part of Barra 18, right? The
370
supporter
square
group, the
miles of
union
Yep,
that's
Barra
going to be
18.
out there, man.
our
And
identity
I mean,
constantly
just take me
evolving
through it,
and
man.
being
Like I like
shaped
getting
by
the
the people
pulse of
who
just
live
where
here.
everybody's
We
at with
are
the
different
most
communities that
diehard
join hands
supporters who's
and
we're
become
gonna
a
be there.
cultural
Like we're
mosaic.
gonna
We are
also
coffee
like
shops,
again,
fine dining,
I'm myself
and
not a
everything
supporter
in
of the team. I'm a
between.
supporter of
Here,
the
you
city.
can find pride
You
on
guys
every
are
corner.
facing
Here, joy
the face of the
is
city,
the most popular
essentially.
mode of
You're the face of
transportation.
the
Here,
city
we believe that
in
supporting
supporting
each
and
other is
being at
what
the
keeps the
stadium
city
and
alive.
being the
Here,
ones to hold it
each
down
morning
against
feels
the
like a
Galaxy
winning goal
fans and
in extra
LAFC
time.
fans who
Every
think they're going to come to
sunset
San
is
Diego
a
and be
ritual. The skyline
whatever
is a
doesn't matter they want
crossbar.
to do, and
Here,
Yeah.
you're going to go ahead and be part of
and value
that
reasons to
force that
smile
makes
underneath the stars
Snapdragon
woven
a
into
fortress. So take me through kind of where
San
the union
Diego.
is at and where Barra 18 is at with all it.
Of all the places in the world,
I guess with repping the city coming,
I
I think
choose you
everybody
every
here has
time.
been waiting for a team to be here in San Diego, so we're just excited, just like the same way we'd root for the Padres. But now it's like I think we were all rooting, watching baseball just based on default, just because like we didn't have a soccer team. So now our focus is starting from scratch, and being from out here, like meshing with the other groups. It's just been, man. I don't know. I mean, I saw you, Tony, at this Sunday at Snapdragon. It was just, I don't know. I felt the energy. It was different this time. It feels great every time we get together and start our chants, but this time I felt the spark. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Sunday. I think we're all ready to head out there. Um, we have the butterflies in our stomachs, but at least I do. But it's like a first date, if I can describe it some way.
Ooh.
But yeah, we have a hot date in Carson. Um, and you guys were talking about the scores, so I think I'm on your side. So I think we're gonna go with the 1-1 tie, but we're gonna open up the scoreboard. But being part of the supporter groups, man, it's been growing, especially in these last. As soon as we've been getting closer to the season to start, it's been incredible, like increasing growth into us. Um, a lot of unity. Shout out Chavos. They've just had their 5-year anniversary. I was with them celebrating that on
Shout out.
Saturday.
yeah.
So groups like that have made it easier. Shout out Barra, especially like um, I guess it's hard for anyone to go into a group. It was just me and my friend Drama at the time. We didn't know anybody, and Barra welcomed us with their open arms, and they've made it easier. Osito, Esteban, Omar, all them dudes, los Colombianos, holding it down and making a nice space for us, the Organicos, that have just been hanging out with them as well. If you guys get the chance to go to the tailgates, slide through. I don't know if did you get the chance to go, Tony? I did. I see you there. I saw you there, right? That's right.
Yeah, no, I went through the pasillo, and that's exactly what it was. Like it's a tailgate. That's something that wasn't able to happen. USD wasn't able to happen with 1904 that much. At the end of the day, like this is something of supporter culture that was missing from San Diego. So the ability to have organized tailgates, to have yeah, I don't want to be the narc of like have fun and the
Yeah.
things that happen at a tailgate, right? Like it's just a family aspect, and really I think everybody's ready. And like I said, I think there was a different gear hit. What I do need to say is that security. How was that getting into the stadium?
It was smoother than I expected. I think the first time we did that practice at the stadium, I think it was the excitement. I think we might have come off a little too aggressive when we got there. We're like, nah, because they were just holding us back. This time we already knew what was going on. They just checked us in smoothly, checked in our flags, checked in our drums, and yeah, once we were in, we just our sections, everybody getting organized. I think it took a little longer for everyone else behind us that was in the caravan to get in because obviously there was a lot of us, and just the tickets were loading. You know, the typical stuff that happens outside of the stadium.
Yeah.
But we got everybody. We squeezed everybody in. It was fun. It was
Did they
really. How did
limit
we
you?
sound? I'm too busy being in there. I didn't even know how it was sounding. I just was off the energy, to be honest.
I mean, it's in the section where like it's not a stadium where if you're not exactly in front of the supporters, the sound doesn't travel in a straight line; it travels outwards. So I
Okay.
think that's the benefit. The question was like, do they limit the amount of drums for you guys, or
At the moment, our first one, they did give us a limit. I believe they gave us like a limit of 10. But I think they were just testing waters with us too. They let us. I think we brought in 15 drums this time, which makes more sense. I mean, they have. I don't know how many drums SDSU the show has, but we were thinking, man, if they allow the show, they gotta at least allow a good chunk of us going.
Yeah, no, I mean, and how did you feel? Like 15 drums?
Yeah, 15 drums. I would want if we can get some trumpets. If any trumpet players are out there, want to join the soccer madness, that would be so
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, get more instruments in there. We just want to be a heartbeat to the stadium and provide that type of energy when the team's down or even when they're winning to keep that momentum going. And if we're already providing that, and I mean, I was watching the streams for the Coachella Valley Invitation and I could hear the chants. That was pretty sick. So I feel like we're ready. At least we feel like we're closer to getting ready. It's gonna be smooth. I don't know. You guys are gonna go to the Galaxy game?
if they
TBD.
approve us? We're still
TBD,
waiting on
yeah,
the
we're still waiting
credential
on the
approve us. I
email,
mean,
yeah.
if not, I'm gonna sneak onto that bus.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sneak you guys in with us. We're gonna have a live podcast on the bus on our way out there.
Hey, we've done that.
yeah,
We've done that. And we've done that before, a roadcast. So stay tuned. We'll see. Con los orgánicos en Barra 18.
They probably won't even be able to hear shit, dude, with all the madness going inside that bus. You're just gonna hear Osito providing barra bombs front and back.
Yo, that Osito is dangerous.
I'm nervous for our driver.
They're professionals. They know they know how to handle a rowdy bunch. Hopefully, and that's exactly what is going to be up there. February 23rd, this upcoming weekend, the first ever match for San Diego FC that is official. This one counts. This one's for realsies. I mean, what do you hope? And then again, just like let it rip. Like if you had just an elevator pitch to San Diego FC right now, and like I know you had the time through the video, I know you had the time like to really kind of express your ways, and you do that very well. But what do you hope that this team is going to do at the end of the day for you as a San Diegan, as a Southern Californian, somebody who was captivated from somebody who has roots in the Inland Empire? A lot of our friends in the Supporters Union are that same story, who thinks that tacos are better in Mexicali, which
That's right.
Maybe stop. Tortillas de harina are not tacos, they're burritos. Don't care how you fold it. Discussion for a different podcast. But right now, talk to San Diego FC. This team is about to start. This team is about to represent you, the San Diegans. What do you say to them?
I'm gonna need if any of them are watching right now, I'm gonna need Chucky or one of the Colombianos to translate this for them. But yo solo quiero ver huevos. Quiero que le pongan huevos en la cancha. Quiero que se partan la madre, ¿verdad? No, como, I mean, nosotros nos vamos a partir la madre ahí en el tablón. We're gonna be singing those 90 minutes, and all I want is you guys throwing it out there for 90 minutes. That's all I expect. I just want to see the hustle. I want to see the drive. I just want to see a team that's not gonna give up, man. Like we're gonna be rooting. I mean, en las buenas, en las malas, we're gonna be there. But queremos más buenas que malas. You feel me? But I don't want to feel like like San Diego has been known to be a vacation away game, just baseball experience. And I don't want to be a vacation away game in the MLS. I want Miami to be that vacation away game. I want LA. Carson doesn't count as a vacation away game because that's not LA. But I want LAFC to be a vacation. Spend some time in the Bay. I don't want San Diego. I want them to feel uncomfortable when they're in San Diego, when they're at Snapdragon. I hope we can provide that. We are going to provide that. I'm sure we are.
Yeah, 100%. Make this place be. And if you want to be a part of it, I know that milestones are happening with the groups, the Dago Boys, shout out, locals, Barra 18, but 18th Battalion, USG 18, the Riptides. Chavos, new ones are coming out. There's a big group of supporters that are really in this mix now. And if you want to join, go ahead and check them out. SDISU, become a member. There are member perks on that. Josue, well, you're gonna see your team really be about it here in this weekend. And we'll talk a little bit more about that artist collaboration with the playmakers and the away kits as they come in, and the artists and all the cool community things that SDFC have done. I think that the time for negativity, time for skepticism is done. Not
Yeah.
necessarily because there isn't any more shit to talk, because there is 100%, 1000%.
It's time for some football.
It's time for exactly. Ya va a empezar el fútbol. Lo bueno empieza.
Yeah.
To translate for our non-Spanish speaking friends, Josue earlier said that I hope that the team for a full 90 minutes really plays their heart out.
Yeah, they're 2 hearts out.
I love that. Barra 18 will bring the noise. Everybody in that
That's
section
right.
will bring the noise. I love
man.
that.
Shout out to everybody coming through, dude. Dago boys, obviously Barra 18, that's the home field. Chavos. The practices have been awesome. Shout out, obviously, locals, Riptides doing their thing as well. Everybody's coming through. Everybody's handling their business. It was so fun to be at the tailgate with all the groups being together, especially since I felt like it was always hit or miss at the Chrome Ball tours, but this time it was special. It was everybody was dancing them cumbias, so it felt like a quinceañera up there. I wasn't even sure if I needed to slow down before we even went in there, so it was great. I can't wait, man. And hope you guys can go in there. I mean, I don't know where you guys are going to be in the stadium, but any chance you guys get to be with the supporter section, come bang some drums with us, dude. It's going to be fun.
We'll make that swing. We'll swing it out there. If we're not in the press box, you'll find us there. Josue, one other thing too, you're also a figure yourself. Tell people where to find you and some of the things that you do, my friend.
Yeah, it's Josue's fault across all social medias. X, I barely use it, but Instagram, where I'm most active. You guys can also follow Orgánicos_SDFC. That's a little chapter under Barra 18. Obviously, Barra SD_18 or Barra 18_SD is the Barra 18 Instagram as well. And the Josue thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you see he also makes some music. Border Town Prince out now. Have some more stuff on the way. Kanye Asada. So hope you guys enjoy it as well.
And I tell you, I fuck with it. I legitimately I started listening. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I connected with you. I'm like, hey, I was listening to it. That's cool.
Nice.
So absolutely give it a shout out there.
Appreciate you. And it's been cool. Like honestly, I was telling the guys this last weekend. It had been a moment where I hit like a creative block with my music, and being part of the supporter groups and getting together to write some of the chants for what we do here helped spark that creativity again, and we've just been going back at it, dude. It's the beauty of the game, dude. So shout out everybody bumping it. Shout out everybody going attending the SDFC events. Shout out you guys, 2 balls and a mic, dude, for having this space, not only just for welcoming me, but everyone that you guys have had. You guys have had Adrian. I tune in all the time, so it's very informative. I keep up. It's my favorite outlet for the MLS since I'm fairly new to the MLS.
Hell yeah, heard it here.
Damn right.
So yeah, and San Diego 316 as a wrestling fan, man, I love your shirt. So
damn right, man. I mean, I'm starting. I've threatened a wrestling podcast for 5 years, so you never know. It's part of it. So hopefully San Diego 316 says, just beat your ass. Well, I mean, aquí tengo a Octagol.
Pues tienes la máscara. Yeah, you have the mask from Leal, dude. Shout out Leal, dude.
Dude, shout
Fonzie
out.
from Chavos,
Yeah.
for the mask creation, and also for plugging me with my drum. I would have not had my drum without him. So shout out that dude in that mask, man.
That's what it's sick.
Fuego. And now, since we are in exactly the Cero Miedo, since we are in MLS time, it's
A la
time
Oh shit!
for San
Nice.
Diego and the MLS to become one. So that's part of the story here. Great almost catch, Chiwa.
What time's that charity game? I'm gonna try to get out of work early to hit that up.
That's going to be at 6 p.m.
February 28th.
February 28th at the Porterview Family YMCA. So check it out. If you want to play, I think there's a way you can play. Get a sign yourself up to play.
Nah, I could have gone pro, but I fucked up my knee, bro.
Of course. Yeah. También del Tony, güey.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna be a boring match because there's gonna be no scoring on my end on my goal. So
Get ready to see me with foggy glasses, bro. I'm just ready.
Oh, well.
But when I was playing indoor, dude, I was like the days I didn't have contacts, I just fogged up glasses. It was the worst.
I feel that. So.
Yeah, it was the worst glasses. Yeah. But thank
all
you.
right, really appreciate it, man. We'll catch you later, man. Good luck, and bro. All right,
Gracias.
Gracias. Seasons greetings. There's two of us. There's one of us. There is, yeah.
That's freaking dope.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Josue. Part of Barra 18 was really part of.
Let's bring A back.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We knew this. This episode was gonna be a
Abe.
long episode. We knew this episode was gonna bring a lot of surprises. Was gonna bring a lot of different things.
I will say, if you see me not moving around a lot, I'm very stiff right now. I pinched the nerve over the weekend.
Here,
and it's painful, and I feel a little better today. Went to the urgent care.
Urgent care.
I said it like that on purpose. You have me muted, by the way. I can't hear myself.
Urgent care?
I can't hear myself.
I can hear him.
You can hear me, but you have my green button turned on.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
so
not.
why can't I hear myself?
Because you need to disconnect.
I'm sorry about making fun of you for being old earlier, Chiva. That was not nice.
It's okay.
All right, go ahead and talk.
Oh wow! All right. Yeah, San Diego FC. Abe, you were there in Coachella this weekend. How was that?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I've never been to the Coachella Valley Invitational. I don't think I've ever been. Actually, I've been to Indio before, but that whole city's kind of cool. Like, there was a kid walking by at one of the games, and he was like, "Oh, I know why they call it Palm Springs." And I was just like, it's just really funny to me because it's like, yeah, it's like a freaking oasis in the middle of the desert. It's like a really beautiful city. Just driving around a little bit was fun, and then the games themselves was just like pure soccer, just a bunch of people, a bunch of fans shouting. You know, everyone, like all the players can hear what everyone's saying, so it's just you can like really feel the energy and passion from everyone. And
what the fuck is this?
It's a little evil how much they charge for food there. I will say that. Like,
did you have the pizza?
I got the food vouchers, so I didn't have to pay. But like, if you have to pay $20 for any meal, like every single meal was at least $20. Like that's
slices of pizza weren't that pricey, but okay, Abe.
All right, so Abe, before we go into the exclusive, essentially coverage that you had for San Diego Wave, again, you were mentioning a little bit of New York Red Bulls and San Diego FC. What did you see out there from this team that's about to play their first official match in a couple of days from now?
It looked like everything was starting to click on the results wise. Obviously, they were making good passes and doing some things that looked like they work in the previous games, but being able to like make that final touch, especially with like your stars, like that was something I asked Mikey Vadas. Like it was the first half was your three top stars scoring. Like it was Chucky Lozano, Anders Dreyer, and Luca de la Torre. Like that is this team is gonna need for success, at least in this season, that these stars that you paid a lot for are gonna have to score and perform at a high level. And when they're doing that, this team can be among the best in the MLS, but there's also gonna be like sometimes there's questions about depth that I definitely have, especially when the subs came on. It looked a lot different. New York kind of gave up in the second half, I think it's fair to say, but it was a lot of fun being there.
Yeah, this game, I will say, you see it on paper and you're like, oh, San Diego against New York Red Bulls. New York Red Bulls just played in the MLS Cup this past season, and won the Eastern Conference, right? So this has to be a good team, but you gotta remember, Red Bulls lost some players. They added Eric Choupo-Moting, who's a Bayern Munich
Bayern Munich.
legend.
Legend, but relax.
I mean, won the Champions League with
Legend
Bayern
bench.
Munich.
Legend bench.
And you know that goal for Chucky Lozano, he makes a bad backheel pass and Luca intercepts it and puts a great through ball for Chucky, and it's a counterattack that San Diego FC executed great. But again, I think this result in general shows that San Diego FC is able to score some goals. This was the first time they put that lineup together, and I think going with that lineup, that's exactly the lineup that we're going to see on Sunday against LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was a solid lineup, especially Luca de la Torre completely changes the midfield.
Yeah,
when
no,
they're all playing together, it looks good.
Yeah, and I think again, it's going to be that golden attack, but that back line is still a little dangerous, especially with Negri subbing out early. We heard from Mikey Varas that this is a precaution. Just he felt something, and we didn't want to risk it. So you haven't had Andres Reyes playing yet, so. There's a lot of questions in the backline, but let's talk about Andres Reyes, just the individual talent that he can do, like with this goal right here. A play really out of nothing that created this goal, and this is exactly why you bring him in, right, Abe?
Yeah, and when you have a winger that's open at all times, it seems like there were some passes there where it's just like, how did he get that? Like, is he open? Like, it's crazy that they made that pass, but you need to have important players like this, especially on the attacking end. And just there's a level of confidence there that from watching the other MLS games, there are forwards that were kind of giving the defense a little bit more respect. But these Chucky and Anders don't really care. They're just yeah, I can go straight at these defenders and I'll be able to score.
Can I just say that Lofersen is a great right back? The minutes that I've seen him play, he played a few in the game against Portland, but I think he came off, again, a precaution. He probably felt something. He's looked great, moving the ball up, covering. He has the pace as for a right back. I think could potentially be the starter. I mean, we'll see how Willy Kumado comes in and kind of takes over. He's still young, as well. They're both very young right backs. But so far, I think Lofersen's great. I will agree. Luca de la Torre changes that midfield completely. He made that pass to Dreyer for that third goal, and I think that him feeding those balls to the wingers and then possibly just sending something to Barkston can definitely.
And Lofersen plays really high too. I think that's something that the Galaxy coaches were talking about. It's so weird with that too, because I'm just sitting right next to them and they were talking, and then at some point they kind of realized they were talking loud. So it was just they started getting all quiet again, because I was just listening and I was like, dang, I wrote one thing down, and then they might have seen me write something down, but I was taking pictures, but they were just it was funny.
Hey, that's on them. I mean, what did you write down?
I don't have that notebook. I have my Wave notebook right here.
Oh, because we are going to get to San Diego Wave, but good. Some offense from San Diego FC. Everybody getting involved. Dreyer's really showing his class. I really enjoyed the goal. Even Emmanuel Boateng here. He had a couple of chances leading up to this penalty that he missed, and I was like,
he wears the captain armband too when Yepes not there.
Mm-hmm. That's good note that he does wear that.
It's interesting that it's only Right to Dream kind of connected players wearing that armband.
I mean, yeah, and you would expect that. You would expect that DNA is always gonna be there. As much as I'm excited to see their celebrations that they'll do through the season. That's part of chemistry building, and it's really part of what is to come for new franchise, new team.
You look at the record on this preseason in Coachella, and you lost 2 games, you won 1, you had a positive goal difference. It's insane. It's it's so confusing because you saw them play that first game in the year and they look completely lost. Obviously, it wasn't the same lineup that we saw against Red Bulls, but they didn't play anywhere near to how they played this game. You saw the game against Portland, and it was a kind of the B team rotation and giving them minutes because everyone else is tired, and they also got dominated by. But then you put this what should be your starting lineup on Sunday, and they just completely dominated too. Whether that's Red Bull not being good this year or having a bad game, that's on that. But you kind of finish off the preseason on the right foot.
I do have some exchanges with an insider from New York Red Bulls because with this, there's networks that are being built throughout. I'm like, hey, so what happened here? Like my thing was like, what did you say happening today? Should we temper expectations? And he said, to be honest, I think losing Reyes and Tolkien for New York Red Bulls was bigger loss than they would expect. And that was exposed today. They don't want to panic right now because it's preseason and it's a team that likes to take a step back. It seems like it's a team that definitely took a step back from last season, and it could be a very long season for New York Red Bulls. So, I mean, this is from somebody who's been following New York Red Bulls closely. Again, made it to the MLS Cup Championship game. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting scoreline. I will say that the 6-0 was the best case scenario for San Diego FC.
Yeah, I agree.
Employees of San Diego FC brass, San Diego FC front office, San Diego FC, everything involving San Diego FC. You can tell everybody was watching that match from who was in attendance on Sunday at that season kickoff party at
I think that
Snapdragon
also
Stadium.
helped them with those numbers at that kickoff party.
That's true. There is one more thing I think I want to say about my observations from Coachella for SDFC is CJ in goal. It's interesting. He was like, even he didn't get a lot of like chances, or at least like service to him, and he saves like as far as like people sending the ball towards him. But even then, there was just a little bit of like, it seemed like overcompensating on the talking front, because I know goalkeepers talk obviously, but it's just like, really, like, it's like, okay, you're talking a lot, and then when you are making passes, it's like you're making the pass, but it's like, dude, it's like the defender's right there, you don't need to like send it that far. I don't know what we're gonna see on the goalkeeper front this season, but that's definitely something we gotta keep our eye on.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree, Abe. And I mean, we set our predictions for Galaxy, and I think they kind of pull off a tie that based on how they played against Red Bulls, and then you think they're just gonna get completely dominated by Galaxy. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I don't know what Tony's doing right now, but he's doing something. He's va a poner a gusto to Abe, so
Just
Swear
so
night.
you know, even though I'm like a little questioning the goalkeeper, Tony, if you pretend like you know more, you're better than this goalkeeper, I am gonna come over there and beat you up.
I don't know if you got that, Tony.
Oh no, I got all of that actually, Abe. And first of all, watch your mouth. Second of all, what I will say is that you're right. These kiddos, these kids in net now, are trying to. No, stop looking at me like that. Yeah, no, they're kids to me, Abe. You called me an old man. That's what you get, kid. I'm kidding.
Call Chiva an old man.
Yeah, that too.
Tony's older.
Shh, we don't talk about that. But at the end of the day, you can recognize an inexperience or an uncomfortability in a goalkeeper regardless of age. You know, I'm looking at the MASL side of things with Boris Pardo, a legendary goalkeeper who, if he starts on wobbly legs, there goes the game. There goes his confidence. For a goalkeeper, it's very streaky, and really it's a matter of building that confidence. And in the play style that SDFC wants to have, they have to be able to trust the goalkeeper with his legs, his distribution, and to make sure that he makes the saves. Those are pretty much the three things that a goalkeeper needs to do. That's why the position is so easy. Everything you do in between there, it's up to you. Just make sure the ball doesn't go across the net.
Don't mess it up.
And so that's going to be what the real kind of anchor is going to be for CJ Dos Santos, his ability to be an asset on the attack and really be able to pinpoint passes. And I can definitely see that. He can pick a pass, and much like in the past that Sverskov did that diagonal through the game, through the middle of the defense and diced it up, CJ Dos Santos can go ahead and do that as well. I don't care why goalkeeper wasn't the top priority for Heaps. We've heard it from Cesar. We've heard it across his MLS doesn't really concern himself with defense a lot of the time, and that's just the reality of the league. And so why splurge on a goalkeeper when everybody, he can score on everybody essentially.
Mhm.
And
It's really gonna come down to who scores the most goals,
Yeah.
whose offense is better. At least that's what it's sounding like. But yeah, anything else from Coachella for San Diego FC that you kind of noticed, liked, experienced over there?
It is an awesome atmosphere. I wish it was a little bit closer, but if fans out there are thinking about like going to these events, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a fun experience when we went as well. So, anything else for San Diego FC, guys?
I don't think we'll see them up until goals, gaps, and greats. Anything for San Diego FC? Tanya was out there, and we're going to go ahead and get actually into now another exclusive coverage from Abe from Coachella Valley. His coverage of San Diego Wave. Very easy to get autographs from players and get a hands-on experience. One thing that I will say, and you know what, it's easy to give credit for this, but not all players do it. Chucky Lozano, one of the players that every single autograph, every single request, as much as he can.
Well, yeah, they're all there to see him, so you better.
I mean, yeah, not that he better. He doesn't have to. He really doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to.
But
Imagine if he didn't.
There are a lot of people there at those games that aren't even San Diego FC fans. Like they're just Mexicans, and like they were just all shouting for Chucky the whole game. It was funny. It was like,
all right.
huge assumption that they're all
Wow,
Mexican.
Abe, all right.
I mean, dude, it was
All
like,
right,
Viva
Abe.
Mexico, vamos Chucky. Like, come on, what?
Oh, now you're offended by it?
No, like that's they're obviously freaking Mexico fans. What are we doing here? Come on.
What are we doing?
Do you think starting 11 or soon maybe we'll start? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. I
Yes.
think yeah, I think he definitely.
Yeah, we were also privy to some insider information on what that actual formation may look like. So, yeah, I think we're pretty spot on with that. With what that's going to look like against the Galaxy February 23rd. All right, so San Diego Wave. Speaking of, everybody out there at Coachella Valley, like this is also an experience for the NWSL to go ahead and have their preseason out there. Their participation began this last weekend with San Diego Wave facing off against Houston Dash. One of two matches. This match was not televised at all. There's not a lot of highlights going about. So Abe, I mean, what can you tell us from what you saw out at Coachella Valley from the first public scrimmage for San Diego Wave?
I'm gonna start with the starting 11 because I honestly thought that it might be like the starting 11 come like their first game on March 15th. So as your defenders, left back, you have Pro Moroni, center back Kennedy Wesley, Hannah Lundqvist as the right back, and then trialist, a non-roster invitee, Pearl Cecil, who's San Diego Surf graduate, I believe, which is kind of crazy to be playing as a center back in that role. And then you had in the midfield Savannah McCaskill playing at the 6, much like Chiva has thought. Kimi Escanio playing kind of at the 7, and then Gia Corley a little bit in the 10, and then on the forward front you had Kira Cruz as left wing, Maria Sanchez as like a 9 / like center forward, more of a center forward, and then Delphine Cascarino on the right wing, which like Delphine only played like 20 minutes because of like what do they call, like it's a, like what do they call those injuries, like the short niggle. She had like a niggle. That's what a lot of the English coaches say, and it's like it's a little weird, but anyways,
Casey did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked because I thought like, oh, 20 minutes, that's weird. And then yeah, the Melanie Barcenas came on for her. Maria Sanchez moved to one of the wings, and then Kira Cruz moved to the center. And I honestly think this team already looked like a team, especially with like these new players. Gia Corley, the hype is hype is real. Okay, she's really good. She is like moving around. She's like a pesky, like I love it when they're on set pieces and you see one of these like midfielders / forwards just being like really pesky and like going really hard at these plays, and it just looks like more of a team compared to last season. Like last season, they're just like, they're struggling and pushing just because of all like the chaos and everything. But man, it's good to see wave soccer again.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a different front, and the thing about it too is that it's also going to be different from what's actually the reality of San Diego Wave coming up, because there are so many internationals on this team. Therefore, there's a lot of players that are going to be lost to international duty once again.
I think there were more beforehand, though.
Yeah, I think so. I think they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 call-ups. And I think last season they were getting like
9.
7 or 8. Yeah, like so. I was surprised. Some players weren't called up. Moroni wasn't called up. And
Maria Sanchez was
Maria Sanchez wasn't called up.
But she
I don't know if France is participating or playing at all, but Cascarino wasn't called up either. Kenza wasn't either, so maybe France isn't participating in this international break. They don't have to worry about any players getting called up to the U.S. women's national team anymore. Since Jaden Shaw and Naomi Girma are gone, unless some of the players kind of step up, like Kennedy Wesley or any Nelly Marcenas, probably not.
Maybe the new national team, Kimi Escaño and Mel B, probably get called up there.
Yeah, so I don't know if international call-ups will be too much of a concern, at least anymore.
I will say Kimi Escaño looked like, maybe it was just from like sitting closer and being like right there on the field, but it looked like she grew. Like she genuinely like was taller, had a more physical presence on that midfield. It was fun to see.
Sure. Kids get taller, Abe.
It's crazy. They're teenagers. They're teenagers playing out there.
France let Cascarino stay because she isn't fully fit. It didn't make sense for her to leave. Yeah, that's it. That is a long trip. Recovery in altitude is more difficult. There's a lot of factors there. So yeah, I mean, different factors as well, and getting everybody match fit. But what did you see from Jonas and his play style and what he's asking of these players, and the way that the team actually lined up out there? Is this going to be a more offensive thing? I know you were kind of sharing with us in our group chat, like they might be better, but there might be similar, if not different, frustrations on the last third for the San Diego Wave team.
Yeah, I think what I said is there's a lot of like cross and pray last season. Like Maria Sanchez, Delphine Cascarino just cross, like, oh, that was a great cross, and no one's there. Or, oh, that was a great cross. Header out. Oh, no score. Still 1-0. You're still losing. And this time they're like making passes. Like there's more purpose when you're playing, when you have a high press. Beforehand, their press was just up, and you're just like, okay, maybe they're gonna be able to like make a cross, make something happen. But like they were playing high and making passes in a consistent, good way. Still on that finishing front, they weren't able to get anything done in this game. But overall, when you're able to like press high and like be kind of dangerous around the box, it looks like it's gonna be a more successful time, in my opinion. And then when you have players like Mel B or even Delphine, if they're going to be like, once they start shooting and like getting into that groove, I think it'll look a lot better.
It's them getting into the groove, by the way.
I was
wow.
the only one, I believe, that said San Diego Wave would be playing better this season.
Who?
Me.
I said so too.
I was very down. Maybe I was just like taken by the Coachella, like the heat. It completely changed my mind, but
negative about it.
No.
After Naomi Girma?
No. I was fine.
Oh.
I was fine because of the new pieces on offense. I've been hearing some things. I've been hearing and understanding some things, some sources.
Am I tripping, Abe?
I think he's gaslighting you, if I'm being honest.
Exactly. No, for sure.
No, I'm not.
Tony doesn't believe in that word, by the way.
That's not a concept. Not even a thing.
No, I was pretty sure before you were very pessimistic about the season with Wave Cup coming.
Nope, Tanya, roll the clip. I'm
pretty sure I'm not tripping, right?
I've been pretty neutral on it. Like I'm not excitable about it, especially
I said they're gonna do a lot better this season. They're gonna be a top 3 team in the NWSL, and you disagreed.
Top 3 is insane.
Okay.
All right, there
No,
we go.
being optimistic
There we
is
go.
being not bottom of the fucking barrel for San Diego Wave.
There we go. So you're not.
Excuse
You
my
don't think they'll be a
fonts.
contender this year,
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
but not being a top 3 team.
What if I say they're not like the others? What if I say they're not just another one?
So-
In their place, you're the pretender. What if I say they'll never surrender?
So no,
They'll be contenders.
Okay, there
Foo
we go.
Fighters.
So they'll be contenders, but top 3 is impossible.
Yeah, impossible.
Okay, gotcha.
Im-
That make sense.
They're
Well,
gonna be
contenders for the playoffs, contenders for a
NWSL.
championship. What do you?
Oh, contenders to win it all. Yes, championship.
Leave that light on, Abe. Makes you glow. A healthy Wave will make playoffs. Mark it down. It's this playback project. I agree. I agree. Like a healthy chemistry-driven team. A team. That's the thing. Like that San Diego Wave needs to be a team. I don't think we've seen a team, a comprehensive play style that can be, hey, let's hope and pray, right? You're talking about hope and pray. Season 1, hope and pray. Caitlin Sheridan gets it to Korniak, who can then head it to Morgan and create something or get a penalty. And then that's what the hope and pray was then. There wasn't a real team identity. So I think a team that plays a style, that plays Jonas ball, that plays what he's trying to implement, can be dangerous. Yes.
I think I was thinking about this at the game too. We have to change our perspectives of what success means, especially on the attacking front, because you have an Alex Morgan sized hole in that forward. There's always going to be there, especially how she was those first 2 seasons. Like Alex Morgan is a player unlike anyone else. She's one of the best women's national team players of all time. She's Penn Alex, scored all those goals. It's going to be hard to ever reach that. And when you see how this attack is going to be playing, it's going to impress you guys, I think.
Did Chiamaka get any minutes, Abe?
She did. She came on in the second half, I believe. And
Oh,
it
how
was
did you see
she
that?
was all right. She's pretty fast. I think still probably not at the same level of fitness as everyone else, but part of the issue, field issues, okay?
Oh.
It's a thing with the Wave. Maybe they're cursed. I have no idea, but at some point during the second half, I noticed they were a player was down there. She had somebody had an injury or something. It wasn't a Wave player, but they all went to go get water except for Savannah McCaskill, who was talking to the ref, and she was stomping on the pitch, and then the ref started stomping too, and I was like, I wonder what they're talking about. Maybe I'll ask. And then after, unprompted, Savannah tells fellow media person, what would you call Megan? I don't know. Megan, we were there and she was talking to Megan. She was like, yeah, second half, that field was just really dry and the ball just didn't want to move anymore. And it's just really? They were playing on the second field too, and there was less games there's not as many teams on the women's side that are in the Coachella Valley Invitational. So I don't think maybe they didn't water it the same, or it was weird that day, but
There's
that
also
second
been,
half was a lot different.
it's also week 2 of the Coachella Valley Invitational, so they're not getting the best field conditions to begin with.
Or not field by then.
So I mean,
It doesn't look worn out. That field looks beautiful.
you look beautiful.
Wow.
Are you
Chiva?
saying that to me or to Chiva?
I'm looking at you, Abe, even
Oh.
though you turned off your little light.
Thank you. I opened up the dock. That's what it was.
Abe, what else did you see out there? How was just the overall experience of covering? How were the sirens?
Bradford Dodgers 2 years ago. Casey didn't make playoffs. Last year's Casey team was put on together by Ashton before she left. Very true.
Yeah, it was put together by Ashton, but at the same time, Vlatko kind of had a lot to do with that, and that's part of the reason why Ashton left, I think, because Vlatko had a little bit more pull than she did, so she wanted to leave. It's that whole saga is kind of weird, but sorry, what was the question?
You're just here so you don't
Anything
get
else?
fined.
Yeah, anything else that you like?
Oh, Melanie Barcenas is so she's becoming more confident, which is kind of crazy. She's already one of these players that's just not afraid to do these crazy moves and spins and stuff. And there was a moment where I was trying to take a video just for B-roll stuff, and I like was trying to follow her. I thought she was about to take a shot, and then she like cut one way and then cut another. Like there's no defenders. Like she's just cutting just for fun. I was like, I'm trying to just get a freaking video. Can you like sit still? It was like I was getting annoyed. I was like, this is like the kind of player she is. Like just won't sit still, just cutting and then like making like these crazy shots, and eventually it's gonna like bear fruit. I think, especially with like such a young player. And then
Yeah.
Trinity Armstrong got her first professional minutes in the second half. She didn't see a lot of action defensively, or at least I didn't get to see a lot of action defensively from her. She's confident with the ball at her feet. I am still very hesitant to put her at the Naomi Girma level, like other people are saying, but she will be an okay center back, I believe.
All right, I'm going down this doc. Just follow through, Abe. It says, "Read your notes, Abe." ... You
Who
read your
put that?
notes, Abe? Abe.
I put that. Oh,
Right.
Jonas was like using the big whiteboard in the middle of the game.
Oh,
I really like that. You don't see that a lot. Maybe you'll see them like do the thing where they're that, or they like have the iPad. He had like the huge whiteboard with with like the little magnets on it. I thought that was really funny.
Imagine we see that at the sightline of Snapdragon. Big
I-
whiteboard.
That would be awesome.
I don't think so, but that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
Just quickly on Chiamaka is a raw talent. Like that's something that you have with Chiamaka, is that you're really going to see somebody who's going to harness the power of what they're able to do and need to develop the skill to focus it. Where you have Melanie Barcenas, who's just output of offensive power, it's flair everywhere. Different places where a lot of these players are in their careers. And it's going to be a difficult ask for Jonas and team to be able to get the most out of this squad and maintain their fitness too.
Yeah, and then San Diego Wave will also be playing again in the Coachella Invitational next Saturday, February 22nd against Bay FC. Not sure if any Siren supporters are making the drive up again.
They'll be
but
there.
if you are, like, I really wish they would stream these games.
Well, Tanya was saying that they were streaming.
I tuned in the
IG.
Sirens IG for
Absolutely.
a little bit.
We can't do that because then we get our credentials taken.
Yeah.
Would have loved to provide a stream. We have the capacity to do that. Just let us know. But yeah, Tanya and Sirens will be there. So shout out. I can't wait to actually get them back. For Call the Sirens returning here on the season. Abe, did you find something in your handy dandy notebook that
What was
Savannah McCaskill is still like at times looks like really frustrated with everyone, but it seemed like a lot calmer this time around. Like I remember last season a lot of people were like, why is she like yelling so much at everyone? But this time it was like a yelling, but it felt like a bit calmer, and she talked about that a little bit in the post game, saying like, yeah, I kind of learned from having like these connections with players sometimes, and I know how to communicate with them in like a different way. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to see develop, how Savannah McCaskill works as a 6. And then she was like, there was a moment where there was like a counter attacking opportunity, and then like she had to run down whoever it was instead of like center backs, and she like threw her hands up. But like beforehand, you saw her like yell at everyone, but then that time she just kind of was doing that to herself.
Yeah, I mean, she needs to be a leader. Like one of the few people that are tenured at San Diego Wave now. So, and not even tenured in San Diego Wave, tenured at San Diego FC, Wave FC, and NWSL in general for the league, McCaskill. So, excuse me, that's her contribution. Sorry. If that's her contribution, being a leader and being vocal, because somebody is definitely going to need to step up into that role for that. Abe?
When Chiamaka first got subbed on, it was really funny. She kicked the ball and it kind of like hit someone right in the face, and she just like did not care. I thought it was really funny.
Like a fan?
No, at another player. Like she was trying to like pass the ball up, and then defender gets in the way, and then she goes down. She's like, oh wow. There's a lot less yellow cards and just like dumb flopping. Like when you watch the men's game and the women's game back to back, it really reminds you like, God, these freaking like dudes games just suck sometimes with how long they're freaking flopping and like, oh my gosh, my leg, I got a cramp. Oh no. Like that doesn't happen in the women's game.
Yeah, it really doesn't. They're much more matter of fact, and you get more bang for your buck. Honestly, if you want to go
Yeah.
watch a game, like go watch San Diego Wave. So they will have one more game to participate in for the Coachella Valley Invitational. We're gonna hey, we got some good reviews from within the club and outside the club about that Jonas interview. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and he enjoyed it on the side as well. Just I'm sorry to have been the one to inform Jonas that kangaroo skin Copa Mundial boots are illegal to purchase in California. He was quick to say,
I don't have any.
I don't have any. I don't have any.
He's pretty funny. He has a lot of personality.
Yeah, he likes to talk. But yeah, so that's the leader of San Diego Wave. Anything else, Abe, for this Coachella Valley game?
No, I think that's all.
Absolutely. So good to see everybody getting out there. Did you think that the new players they can beat 2022's Wave? Feels like a brand new team. Maybe anybody can beat that team, honestly.
2022 team? What are you talking about?
Oh, 2022 team. I was weird.
Yeah.
I thought we were 20.
Like the inaugural team.
Yeah, that's the
I don't
shield
think
winning team.
we gotta see like real games from the Wave before you can make a statement on that. I think probably I'd still take the 2022 team. Taylor Korniak at the time was like unstoppable.
Getting called up to the national team.
Yeah, getting called up to the national team. Young rising star, rookie of the year, Naomi Girma, Alex Morgan still at her peak. It's hard to compare.
Emily Van Atwan was actually playing good back then.
Yeah, she was your favorite player at that time.
Yeah,
wasn't
she was. She was fucking
That's
great.
hilarious.
She was a key player, and then she fell off.
So a short outlook for San Diego Wave. Tuesday training, Wednesday training, Thursday training. Great, train. Friday training. We'll have some stuff in terms of B-roll, and then Saturday at 11 a.m. against Bay FC. Live updates to be provided on social media, post-match media availability in person, and then recaps will be sent after. That's kind of San Diego Wave's participation in the Coachella Valley Invitational for that.
The players really like it out there too, from what I've heard and seen. Like it was funny. Morgan Messner plays for Portland now, and she came by like after the Portland game to say hi to like some of the Wave players, and she was talking with Hillary Beale, and I heard them just saying, and like there's like a snowstorm in Portland right now, like literal blizzard happening, and meanwhile the Thorns get to play in Coachella, where it's like 74 degrees every day. There's like beautiful palm trees everywhere. I think like a bunch of players were like playing golf today. Like it's basically like a vacation and training preseason all at the same time.
And it's beautiful out there. Like
Oh, yeah.
honestly, really nice, especially right now that it's not super hot. A lot of bees, right, Abe?
There were like a few bees. One got in my car in the morning. Actually, I got really scared. I managed to like shoo it out.
If you don't know, Abe is allergic to bees.
I'm not. My sister's allergic to bees. I've only gotten stung like a few times, but last time I did,
Few times?
a few times. I think how many times? It was like 1, 2, 3. think-
But you were not allergic.
No, my sister, like my hand got like literally like 3 times the size of my other hand last time I got stung. So I think it's just been getting worse every time. But one time my sister got stung and like her arm became like it was crazy.
Yeah, well, carry an EpiPen, please.
All right, well,
Uh,
I think this is the perfect
Yeah,
kind
no.
of segue to our next segment and our last segment of the
Of the
night.
day.
the
Yeah,
night,
it's
yes.
been a long night. A lot of San Diego soccer to talk about because it is the first ever San Diego FC
It
match
is.
coming up. Preseason for San Diego Wave. The great and powerful Cesar H Football, Cesar Hernandez coming in and joining us. No, the game will not be streamed from what we understand. The Sirens did an awesome game streaming, so catch their social medias as well. We'll talk about that here in Goals, Gaps, and Grades. All of the teams making their games available to watch. Embarrassing for the Wave. I mean, take it up with management, I'd say. Buzz. All right.
Bees. This is Goals, Scabs, and Grades.
All right, goals, gaffes, and greats, the part of the show where we talk about the beautiful game, everything that makes a part of it. If you have a goal, if you have a gaff, if you have a grade, people will usually send those through social media. But first, we will start with the goal of the week. All right, so for the goal of the week this week, we actually had there was a couple to choose from as I completely lose control.
I got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the first one that we had for goal of the week was just one of the San Diego FC goals, and Tony and I kind of kept going back and forth on which one should it be, but I think he kind of landed on this Luca de la Torre goal.
Gives it up to Lozano.
For San Diego FC.
There's McVeigh connecting with
Ball here.
Tversky.
Jeppe gets the ball. Long through ball for Luca.
De La Torre in stride. It's De La Torre. De La Torre adds to the lead. It's 3-0 in the first half for San Diego FC.
I really like this goal, especially just the control aspect from Luca de la Torre. That first touch in stride is absolutely immaculate, and what's going to be making San Diego FC so dangerous. Boom, boom, boom. A little bit this way so I can see the volume.
I have it muted. So
Perfect. So the building out the back. This is going to be the quintessential San Diego FC style of attack. They see a window. Sverskov sees the run, but that touch is absolutely exquisite. A finish, fantastic. A great goal. It's a great team goal. It only took really 3 players to get involved there. Again, it's already too late. My family's asleep. I can't do a redo of how I would do this call. But I mean, if you want to go Dos Santos right here, and you have Timothy McVeigh. McVeigh looks up.
Is Jeppe.
Jeppe Sverskov. He sees laser all the way. Aquí viene De La Torre. Luca. Goal. He didn't celebrate that much. It's preseason. Luca De La Torre getting the goal of the week. Part one of goal of the week, because yes, there were a lot of goals to choose from, but another goal that actually caught the attention of yours truly was a goal in La Liga MX Femenil, and this is courtesy of San Diego's own Christina Birkenrode, part of the current reigning defending champions in that league, former guest of the show, Christina Birkenrode. So this is a strike right here.
Ya, se viene Birkenrode.
Look at that.
Great
Great
touch. Jeez.
Great confidence there.
Also, no notes on this commentary.
No, that's good.
Fantastic stride from outside the box in stride, knowing that there's going to be contact. Look at the time to make this 2-1. Tigres versus Monterrey, Clásico Regiomontal, Christina Birkenrode. Your second goal of the week. Absolutely fantastic. First touch was phenomenal. I want to see her at San Diego Wave at some point. I want to see her be here locally. Absolute class on that first and second goal for sure.
Ended
all right.
up losing 5-1 to Tigres, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
But she scored the goal.
But she scored the goal. Christina scored the goal. All right. So going over into the great of the week, I'm actually going to turn it over to you. There's a lot of great stuff happening around the city of San Diego in terms of soccer. But Abe, you were a witness to just this great moment. No, puppy. What's going on here?
It's a very cute dog. That's Kaylin Sheridan's dog. I think it's like a service dog now, and it's always around. I think I've seen it at some games at Snapdragon, but for some reason, just like got free, was coming up playing with everyone. Came up to say hi to Jonas for the first time, I believe. It was hilarious. I cut out some of the audio just because like there was like some background stuff that
Some
was
intimate
happening.
conversations.
Some some conversations were like maybe that shouldn't be out on the stuff. So but Jonas was like, oh look, a dog, and then just like got all excited. Like
And
we
you
were
talk-
about to start, and he was just like, dog, and just like did all that. It was very silly. And
That's the
just
great of the week.
Yeah, Coda, the name of the dog, is the great San Diego Puerto Football's great of the week.
we should ask her like, hey Coda, you
What are
won
your
San
thoughts
Diego-
on San Diego Wave and their
No, I mean like you gotta do the Joe Corona. You just won San Diego Football's grade of the week. How did you feel?
wow. Does he speak Spanish? Because it said wow. Does Coda speak Spanish? She has her own fans. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm gonna go do a deep dive on Coda now. All right.
Time
Cool.
for our gaff of the week.
All right. So the gaff of the week. We
I
have
mean,
it.
I saw you throw in on there, Tony, that it's Guillermo Ochoa.
Yep.
Is it because of the hat?
I thought he was gonna be San Diego FC's first player. What happened?
Oh wow. Hey. Francois Meme wearing a hat here, a la Miguel Calero. No, it's not because of the hat.
Oh, is it this safe then?
You mean not save the goal that he absolutely gave up as his team is facing descenso, as his team is facing relegation, as his team he's just a relegation magnet at this point. Shiva, you're sharing it right now.
Did this one?
Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
Why is he wearing a hat?
Goes in the shade there.
Yeah, he was actually. Look at this.
Ay,
Memo,
Ochoa.
Memito. ¿Qué
Ya,
haces?
retírate, Memito.
Please. Like, it's painful. It's painful.
Retírate, San Memo.
It's painful, guy.
He can do whatever he wants. Okay, he's
He
provided
can.
everything for
He
Mexico.
really
Mexico would like be literally they would have not gotten out of group stage in so many different World Cups if he had not played.
Yeah, because they totally won the whole thing overall. So great. Thank you, Ochoa, for not winning anything.
With that, it will take us to bonus gaff. Oh, what's this, Tony? A bonus gaff
For free?
Your app for free? Absolutely. And
Only if you subscribe.
gotta subscribe to San Diego Punto Football for that.